connected to their Wi-Fi. I
Hey,
didn't
you're
know
not
they had
missing
it.
out on much. Yeah, they
I
got
mean,
Wi-Fi. It's your basic bitch like what my mom gets, like 30 megs per sec. No, it'd be an industrial one, so they probably get like
I
400
mean,
megs per second. Shit.
it's not the best in the world, but I mean, it gets me by. I can't play videos in here like I want to half the time. Can't play videos in here like I want to half the time. Can't play videos.
Oh, there we go. I thought I muted shit.
I hate this place. God, I hate this place, man.
You and me both, man. I've never liked Walmart.
Crystal Kidin. Welcome to my
Everybody in
channel.
this joint looks like they're sad.
Crystal Kidin.
I mean,
Said. Hi.
yeah, because you're supposed to be saving, but you're not really saving. You get like 5 items and it totals $100.
My wallet's fixing to get
Literally,
an ass
yeah.
whooping in here. My wallet's fixing to get an ass whooping in here when I pay for it.
What, for spanking it in the tool shed in the back? In the lawn garden?
Nah, I'm fixing to buy a few things. Probably spend about $300.
What are you spending $300 on?
No, I'm saying I'm only going to get like maybe 5 items and it'll probably be like $300 in here.
Oh.
I just had to drop about 300 bucks on a fucking new phone because I bricked
I could have got a $400 phone, but it was out of stock, and my only option was an $800 some odd dollar phone.
Well, when I bought this phone I have here,
The goddamn bacon. Welcome to my channel. Hi. Also news 5. Because fuck you, I'm going back to sleep XD.
If I can get better performance, $100 more.
You gotta think of it like this, like just because it's $1,000 doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna work any better. I've had some cheap ass phones that outperform the fucking newer phones.
Oh, no doubt this cell phone cheap as far as performance.
No joke, Rick. The best service I've ever gotten out of a phone came out of Walmart. Surprisingly enough.
That's where I got my phone. My last phones was Straight Talk.
Virgin Mobile.
Yeah.
Virgin Mobile before Sprint bought them out.
Was that what Straight Talk is?
Not 100% on that. I think Straight Talk's a part of AT&T.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Most of them are piggybacking off of. I mean, think about it. They're all owned by the same asshole.
Yeah.
At the end of that little money funnel, it's one person that owns them all, but you know.
Right.
This phone I'm on here is a Walmart phone, but tearing the freak up.
See, I have a T-Mobile phone. But I was piggybacked in through Sprint. So the plan that I'm on, like, essentially $400 gets
Rusty
knocked off of
Rivers.
my phone.
Welcome
So I
to my
only have to
channel.
pay
Rusty Rivers.
whatever else is left. But if I pay it off early, I end up paying more for the phone in the long run.
Yeah.
What's up,
Goddamn
Rusty?
bacon.
How you doing, brother?
Said. Straight
Oh.
Talk
You guys
is
are
under
live?
T-Mobile.
Okay, Straight Talk's under T-Mobile, Bacon says.
Okay. It's
I didn't know you
fine
guys.
for me.
I didn't know you guys were on a live stream.
I said I was going live soon. I don't think you might not have been in here when I said that, though.
I don't think they said anything.
I said I'm gonna be going live soon. That's partly why Chris left.
Right.
Oh, Chris was in here?
Yeah. And I forgot where the hell I was in this game. Oh, yeah. I was trying to get this fucking shrine.
The sport and buy up. I got the Subo. If you interested.
Yeah, where they at? Heck yeah, I'm finna get me a ball cap.
Crystal Kidin.
Hell yeah.
Said. How is everyone today?
Could be better, could be worse. Not gonna lie.
Rusty Rivers
Yeah.
said, Kitten.
Cool. Why are you talking to me?
Got these two boots.
Oh.
Might have to put myself in.
You think I was gonna say that?
Heck yeah, I appreciate it.
I'm that predictable? Is that what I always say? Read a book?
Now we're pretty gonna rack up
Read a
on
book.
some fast over here, fellas.
Read a book, it's good for you.
Jeez.
Just make sure it's not some fantasy sci-fi, not, make sure it's like a real book and none of this like made up bullshit that they're trying to pass off as real.
Get another one in bad boy. Get another one of these.
Okay.
Okay. They having a hat sale here in my Walmart.
Ooh.
$2 a pop.
You gonna get your favorite foosball team?
Rusty
Don't
Rivers
tell Allie they're selling
said,
hats.
Oh
I'm
god.
No,
on
it's
my
just,
friend's small
it's
sailboat.
just like mossy oak and real tree and stuff like
Oh god.
that. Hey, I like cats. I could use
The
a few
goddamn
hats.
bacon.
I mean, I like hats too, but I don't.
At Crystal Kitten woke up
There-
before there
Oh,
were
God.
4 digits on the clock. Not happy, but okay. You
Hold on, let me
Rusty
put me in a
Rivers
bitch and get on screen.
said,
Thought you go.
got lots of
Did-
wine and smokes.
Did
Crystal
my
Kitten
notification wake you
said,
up, Bacon?
I'm helping my friend with her math class.
Probably did. He
Rusty
goes to sleep
Rivers
late as fuck.
How
Said,
the fuck?
Bacon
it's
up in
like a
here.
crack
Yeah,
house.
Bacon's in the stream.
Poles
bro.
Kebab. Welcome to my channel. Poles Kebab
Polska bad.
said,
What's up, Polska?
Chaos
Oh,
07
Scabba. What's good, brother? How you doing?
Got Rusty. Got
Got
Cat.
Rusty, got Kitten, got Bacon in here.
Rusty Rivers
Did it get dark
Said-
in here?
I don't think I've ever had Bacon in here
Cuban
this
Steve.
early.
Welcome to my channel.
Ugh.
Mtao Outlaw. Welcome to my channel.
There's gotta
I think
be.
it just
Cubing Speed.
There's
Said-
gotta be
Lurking.
a way
Mtao
up
Outlaw
there.
Polska bad.
Said, what up guys?
Oh, what's up, Polska? How you doing, brother?
Said, Dr. Phil, don't you have a job? Crystal Kitten.
I'm trying to work
Damn.
for a
Said,
buggy, man. I'm carrying my
Hi,
crap
Outlaw.
like
Rusty
Instead of
Rivers.
said, don't you have a job, bruh?
Cubing be speeding.
Yeah.
Crystal
I'm
Kitten
retiring after 21 years.
said, hi
the
Polska, hi
word.
Rusty. Rusty Rivers
I no
said,
longer have a talk show.
Yo Outlaw. Polska Bob.
They're not
said,
taking my show
Bacon
away
still
from
up
me,
from
man.
last night? The goddamn bacon. Said,
It would crack me
I
up
don't
if
think
he
I've
became
had
the new
bacon in
Jerry
here
Springer.
this early. That's what she said. XD. Hey, did it just get dark in here?
Heck yeah, dude.
Cubing speed.
For some
Said,
reason or another,
internet
they're taking
janky
my
right
show
now.
away from me.
Dipping.
I'm happy to retire.
Back maybe later. Cubing speed. Said,
Okay.
internet janky right now. Dipping. Back maybe later.
Internet
Me out.
janky
Goddamn
right
bacon.
now, huh?
Said, at Polska Bob not quite LOL. Rusty
I'm gonna
Rivers
kick you out of here if you...
said,
Poor
is that
internet.
Riggs I hear?
Riggs is in here, yep. Indies, or not Indie. Outlaw's in here.
Yeah, I'm trying to save my bricked phone.
Emmy's in here.
Got Mr. Hemi full speed in here.
Yep. Damn, I can't never find a bug in this joint.
Got the usual menagerie of
Polska
degenerates
Bob.
in here.
Said,
Always.
Rusty 07 Crystal Morning.
Can't find no damn bug in here, boy.
Rusty Rivers said,
Oh, God damn it.
yo woo.
Oh gosh.
I look like a
Ugh.
carrying my stuff in Walmart.
I'm sorry if y'all heard that.
What'd you do? Nut in your pants?
No, I'm busting ass, man. I'm not. I fucking had couple of bacon and cheese grilled cheese sandwiches this morning for breakfast.
Oh, you got bubble gut.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Speak with.
Better be maple bacon.
I heard that Black Label bacon's pretty good.
Yes.
Is it? I haven't had it.
They got the maple. They got the applewood. They got every kind you need.
Hell yeah.
But if you want really, really good, Boar's Head.
Boar's head.
Boar's Head.
Boar's Head. Their shit, oh my god. It's a little bit more expensive, but their meats are fucking delicious.
I've seen the Black Label at Sam's Club. I saw that. I'm like, didn't somebody say that was like good as shit?
Yeah, this is me.
Walmart's got it.
Yeah, Walmart will have it. You'll find Boar's Head more like United and the more bougie. Yeah, the more bougie places like Target and stuff and United.
Yeah. Fucking Target.
I hate
Home of the
Target.
Karen.
Target.
Target's just Walmart but red.
Pretty much.
Don't tell the rich fuckers that live near them places.
Oh yeah.
Nah, they think they're
Whole
getting.
different breed of people in that joint.
Every time I've gone in there, it's all fucking like German cars and fancy shit outside. It's like,
Meh.
yeah, this is where the rich fuckers shop.
That's where I got my capture device from. Because that was the only place. It was about 2.5. It wasn't cheap. There was another version that was like $300. It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna get this. My buddy though, he went and got the $300 version one. Damn, someone dropped some shit.
Outlaw, what's going on over there?
Pushing a buggy.
What is wrong with your buggy?
It was
It's got
causing all
some-
sorts of fucked up shit to come through.
Oh, what's up,
It's got
Indy? How
some
you doing,
weed.
brother?
It's got some weave stuck in the wheel like usual.
God damn it. Well, why don't you take your little pocket knife and cut out that weave?
I'm about to.
And then you can sell it to a sister for half the price.
Rusty Rivers
The ratchets.
said, "Hey,
Piece of shit,
Indeed.
buggy. I'm about to kick it across the store.
Or you can find a sister and be like, here's your cultural appropriation back.
It don't matter what Walmart I go to, there's gonna be weave stuck in these wheels somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
You in the South, boy.
Oh yeah.
So, they passed a law, I think it was in England, where now if you make fun of a bald man, it's considered a kind of a protected class now.
Make fun of what?
Bald men.
Oh my
Someone
God.
called an employer a bald cunt, and he fucking, yeah. They passed
Now,
a law
wait a
now
minute.
where it's illegal to make fun of people who are bald
the goddamn
because
bacon.
it's predominantly men that go bald.
New pickup
Hey, I can get
line.
behind
Hey,
that.
lady,
Don't go
wanna come
there.
appropriate
I'll see.
this culture?
I'll see if I can
Darkness
find the
contains
paper
facts.
again. Or not
I
the
can get
paper.
behind that.
I'll see if I can find the YouTube video again that played it. But I was watching this, I was like, no way. This is how it starts.
I'm a victim.
She's
I'm a
bald.
victim.
She's bald shaming me.
Dude,
I can't help it.
I want a paycheck now. Where's my paycheck?
I want reparations.
That's what I'm saying. I want a paycheck now for my pain and suffering.
Where you going, fat? Goddamn, fat boy can run. Come here, Porky. Come here. Come here. Just want to give you a hug.
I've
Damn it,
suffered
yay!
long enough for my receding hairline. I want reparations.
Who just joined
Better
Well,
up?
not say that in here. I'll get
I've been
crucified
scarred.
here.
The goddamn bacon.
Oh,
I've been
it's
scarred.
Harry. What's
Said.
up, Harry?
Justices
I
for
better not
victims
say
of
that in here, I'll get
alopecia
crucified in
everywhere
Walmart.
XD.
Yeah,
That's my
justice for alopecia victims everywhere.
Ooh.
Hell, my kids have made fun of me for being bald. Come
Oh.
on.
Hey, you can call the cops now and have them prosecute. Well, no, not here in America. This is over in the UK or England or whatever. This is
I get
across the
made fun of.
pond.
Let's go down the tater chip aisle and see what we got.
Oh God, is Outlaw doing walk with me through Walmart?
Grocery shopping, baby. What we got up in here?
Let her rip tater chip.
Barbecue flavored Dorito.
Gas that aisle.
Yes, sir. Let me work one up.
He's doing groceries. I'm doing one.
Is that Harry King?
It is.
What's
Dude,
up, brother?
I loved going through fucking Walmart during the COOF mandate and just dropping ass everywhere.
I
I do that
mean,
too when I have it worked up.
I'm just as guilty of it.
I'm
I
like,
do it.
I like to go into fucking what's it called into the scented candle place in the mall and let them go.
Heriken. Welcome to my channel.
you know,
Heriken.
if
Said.
they complain, it's like,
Hello.
well, your face diaper don't exactly work now, does it? If you
Here
can
I
smell
can.
my fart, you can.
Said.
all
Job
that
is
stuff
done.
will get
Time to
through it.
ride towards home.
These people in here would kill me if I did that, man. I see him looking like, I know this dude. Oh, buddy over here staring at the cereal aisle like he's in a bed. I swear, man, these people around here act like zombies.
Rusty
You have
Rivers.
to bear with me. I'm
Said.
trying to find
Hey,
this
Harry.
video.
Everybody up in this joint looks like fish, mouth breathers. Let's go down the frozen foods aisle. What does Outlaw want?
Booty.
Frozen foods aisle. What does Outlaw want?
Outlaw wants ass.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Mixed vegetables.
Mixed vegetables. That sounds good.
Did you? I can't remember if it was Hammer or if it was somebody else, but somebody brought up the idea of using chicks that were vegetables to basically make them into a baby factory for people who couldn't have kids.
That's their go-to for everything. You just want women as baby factories. Like, that's a pretty baseless assumption right there, sweetie. Or why is it always the baby making factories with you? Why is it always sex with you? Maybe it's y'all that think more about sex than men. Maybe
I
this
just
whole
thought it was
time
crazy.
y'all been projecting yourselves
Said.
onto
Nothing
men.
better than laying a fart on two lezzes in Walmart looking
Oh,
at
dude, yeah. Crop dusting a motherfucker it's great until it happens to you.
Nashville hot style chicken mac bites. What the hell is that? Sounds pretty good, actually.
It's just chicken.
Macaroni and cheese. Chicken fettuccine alfredo.
Maybe I'm not gonna find it.
Fuckers who doing their groceries. It's late.
Y'all say a prayer for Outlaw's Walk. He's fixing to spend a fortune in this joint. He ain't never gonna see his money again after that.
Oh, come on.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all have a word of prayer for my wallet, man, because I'm fixing to spend out the yin yang in this joint.
Good luck.
I mean, you could just peacefully protest and just walk out with it. And when the
Yeah,
cops
like
try
that
and
shit.
stop you, you just be like, I'm peacefully protesting. The fuck are you on?
Nashville hot style Mac bikes. Actually, they look pretty.
Damn, don't tell me this shit got lost in the fucking ether.
Mm-hmm. I think we need to get some money together and buy him a better good pair.
Oh, India like this. Budweiser flavored potato bites.
Budweiser flavored?
Oh, that's
Budweiser,
right.
beer
Okay,
batter.
so let me correct myself. Calling a man
Hold on,
bald counts as sexual harassment in the UK.
Well, I better tell my buddy Mark. He's balding.
Check this out, India.
Well, I'm driving. I can't see anything.
Oh, that's all right. I'll read it off here. Let me pause this real quick. Yeah, I saw this shit
Ooh, there you
yesterday, and I was like, "What? This is
Beef stick.
fucking hilarious."
Barbecue
Don't-
pork sliders, bro.
Don't show that to True Blood.
We're fixing to grab some of these cheese sticks, bro.
Right.
Yeah, man.
So, calling a man bald counts as sexual harassment. UK judge rules.
The goddamn bacon.
Calling a man bald can now be
Women are
classed
literally sex
as
objects.
sexual harassment.
Aside
A
from them
UK
seeing
Employment
most
Tribunal
things is
judge's
related
rule.
To them getting banged.
Three
Tell me why
members
most women I've had can enjoy the
of the
female figure
tribunal
alongside me.
who decided on the ruling and alluded to their own experience of hair loss, said that baldness was more prevalent in men than women. Therefore, they argued that the use of the word bald as an insult related to a protected characteristic of sex. The tribunal compared calling a man bald to commenting on the size of a woman's breast based on a 1995 case. The ruling published Wednesday was made on a case where the insult was alleged to have been used against Tony Finn, who he worked as an electrician for the British bong manufacturing company. Finn had worked at the company which manufactures wooden cask closures for the brewing industry in Yorkshire in the northeast of England for 24 years. He was fired last year, and the circumstances around his dismissal were also part of the case. Finn claimed that he was called a bald cunt and was also threatened by a ship's supervisor in a dispute in July 2019.
Yeah, so if you call me bald, then I want reparations.
The tribunal determined that using this insult was a violation against the claimant's Finn dignity. It created an intimidating environment for him. It was done for that purpose, and it related to the claimant's sex. The tribunal members also suggested that it was not the use of profanities that was the issue, with Finn also having been found to use such language in the workplace. Although, as we find, industrial language was commonplace of the West Yorkshire factory floor. In our judgment, Mr. King crossed the line by making remarks personal to the claimant about his appearance. He's set to receive compensation on the tribunal's ruling, though the amount has not yet been determined.
There you go, outlaw. Our
That
dignity has
is-
been damaged.
So, yeah. Anytime a woman makes fun of you for not having enough hair on your head, she's being a bigot, according to the UK standard.
I want to check.
Or even if it's a dude saying it, you could get him for sexual harassment too.
Yeah, I
Yep.
want to check.
So this is
want
just
money back.
opening the door. Like, they keep talking about slippery slopes. Here's another slippery slope for everybody to enjoy.
The only slippery slope that's going on in fucking bedrooms is, well, they're too needy.
Well, you know, the dude for the week, their flavor of the week or month or whatever they decide to
Right.
use for the week. Because,
Wanna
you
know
know,
something else?
what's that?
Over here in Germany,
Uh
a
huh.
couple has a house, and on the papers it says the owner of the house is the dude, right?
Mm hmm.
Yeah.
They got a divorce. Who gets the house?
Well, if they're not married, there can't technically be a
No,
divorce.
no, they are married.
Okay.
They are married couple.
Well, according to the alimony laws, she generally gets the house and he has to start over from scratch.
Yep.
No,
See, ain't that some
nope,
crap?
not over here.
That's good. She can move back in with their parents. He should be able to keep the house.
See, ain't that some bullshit?
Yeah, there needs to be a return policy. If he violates whatever the statute is, then you basically return her to the
She
store and
feels
take her
like
back to her parents' house.
you go through these YouTube videos where and you'll see women sit there and talk about how they were together 20 years and the husband came home one day and just out of nowhere, boom, divorce papers and left him for a 20 something or other, you know? And it's like, why did he leave? Was she an insufferable cunt? Was she using sex to control him? Was she doing some fucked shit? Because men don't leave for no reason. So, you know, all's fair in love and war, I guess. It's about to get ugly in the equality movement
Yep.
here.
Also over here, if there's a dude and a woman who are doing the same crime,
You should have seen this sweet drift I pulled off of this buggy.
You drifting.
What's
ja
that?
versteckt.
I pulled off a sweet drift a while ago with this buggy.
Oh, shit.
Back to my point because I was interrupted.
Drift
If
car,
a
boy.
dude and a woman doing the same crime, the man gets a penalty and also the woman, but not that wrong has the man.
Damn, I got 3 charms of ferocity.
But when it comes to murder, man, you will both go to jail.
Yeah.
Alright, I gotta go to work. I'll talk to you guys later.
Have fun, buddy. Take it easy.
All right. Have fun.
Later.
Ooh. That sounded almost like you just drank some milk.
Nope. It's called Mezzomix. It's a Coca-Cola soft drink with Fanta. It's cola and Fanta together.
Ah. There it goes. All the way over here now. Oh, I'm gonna listen to this video. Enjoy. This is New Discourses here on YouTube. James Lindsay talking about Paulo Freire and the Marxist transformation of the church.
You're not streaming Chaos?
I am, sir.
Oh.
We're gonna wrap this up. Sooner or later, I won't leave you hanging. You guys will probably be impressed.
Ah, shit.
I've got some cool theory fish to fry though, so that might take a minute. But we've already covered the educational part of this book.
Ah, shit. Got 10% battery left. Ah, shit.
Episodes. And then in the last half
So they've got over here,
not the last
there's a
half,
bag of display of dog
so
food.
that's what we're gonna talk about.
They could guess how they're advertising it.
Goes on to
A trans dog
church.
eating cat
Oh.
food.
Church.
They've got a chick in yoga pants stretching in front of it.
liberation theology. In the 11th chapter,
Sounds about right.
They're
it's just a
selling
page,
dog
page
food
and
in
a
the
half
store
of
with
letter of
women.
praise to the
Buy
father
my dog
of
food.
black liberation theology.
Why
If
not
you
go
buy my
pick
dog
up
food, you'll look like this too.
Adoption of Catholic Marxism. Okay,
Hold on, let me go back and show you.
critical race
I
theory
want you to see this.
favored Protestantism.
This is how they're selling dog food in this joint.
Chapter 11 praises James Cone and black liberation.
Put on the
The chapter 10
outlaw cam.
liberation theology and the role of the church. And so, in the
Give me a
previous
second,
episode,
I'm
the
old.
final episode talking about education, we found out the first half of this bizarrely religious chapter of the
Alright, so
Paulo
here's your dog
Constitution,
food right here,
which
right?
I think we'll have to return.
Y'all see this?
Hold up.
Y'all see that?
Rusty Rivers.
Chaos is gonna have to
Said.
describe it to me.
Could you explain that a little more, Bacon?
I'm gonna need
Sounds
you to get a little
interesting.
bit closer to it.
So this is your dog
Like keep
food.
getting closer because
Right
it's
here.
kind of grainy. Okay, so blue. All
Yeah,
right.
blue label dog food. Now this is how they're advertising it.
Oh. Well, you know, you gotta get women away from the crazy cat lady stigma, and start pushing the crazy dog lady. You know.
It's exactly what the goal
So,
of education
you know,
is. And so we understand
I thought you guys would like to see
Freire
that.
is saying that the goal of this process is in fact cultural evolution, to what we saw in China. For example, is exactly what he has in mind. Now, this whole chapter is ultimately about the ways that people outwardly committed to liberation fail to do it right. It's really a thumbscrew twister on the people who are kind of
looking at me
trying to
crazy.
transform, in this case, the church or education. And it focuses
Yeah,
on
I'm driving and I don't dare not pay
failing to go
attention.
along naively,
Right.
failing to go along shrewdly. They know that they should be Marxists.
Basically,
not be
Indy,
Marxists.
it's a
And so they're
lady with
shrewdly siding
yoga
dominance
pants with her
while
ass in the
pretending
air,
not to see how long they can get away with
advertising
it.
dog food.
That's going to get really weird as we go through the chapter because
Oh, gosh.
this is actually happening for
Ah.
Now tell me, y'all, what does that have to do with selling dog food?
But the Iron
Well,
Man
it's
never misses.
in order to beat the crazy cat lady stigma, they're buying dogs. So now there's gonna be a bunch of dog ladies.
Freire talks less and less
Oh.
about schools and more and more about churches,
Hey.
which we heard in the previous episode
Whatever
also
works.
are a significant target for the World Economic Forum. In fact, Rick Warren in 2008 went to Davos and spoke for the World Economic Forum and told them explicitly that they would never accomplish their goals without getting faith as the third leg of the stool. That there are three legs of the stool of society, and that those are the public sector, the private sector. In other words, politics, economics, and spirituality. Faith being the third. And he said, if you don't get us 5.5.
See, Outlaw,
you're
we're
never going to get it.
trying to get you into the tights kind of thing. You know, we're trying to promote you.
From the World Economic
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, you start posing weird pictures like that with dogs and stuff, and
Yeah.
Hey, man. The tides are a little too far.
and you could tell them if they don't allow it, then they're discriminating against you,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
you could kind of force your way in there through government means, you know.
But it's just
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
kind of school, one with, in fact, as Klaus Schwab is very clear
Hey,
about,
man, I'm a lady now.
large amount
Respect
of
Yeah.
my pronouns.
capacity to shape
Yeah, just start
all
slinging
Yeah.
out all the
Because they're
buzzwords.
not,
Let's
shaped
get it.
merely intellectually. For that, you need faith.
I
And
now
so faith is the
identify
third
as
leg of the transformational
lady
stool.
now.
And again, we can
Hmm.
take Rick Warren. Let me name him again. Rick Warren. You know, the purpose-driven
Hmm.
life. Rick Warren.
That's
that
my
Rick
check
Warren,
to do
Pastor
whatever
Rick
I
Warren,
want
who wrote
to.
The Purpose-Driven Life. That guy, not some other guy with the same name. That guy went to many Davos meetings and sold out the churches to them for this three-legged stool, public-private faith
Yeah, I got to get out of this
message.
place.
And
I
here's
can't freaking stand
a white paper
Walmart.
that in 2016, when the World Economic Forum was pretty certain, for various reasons, namely Hillary Clinton and other political people who actually did win, that they expected to win, were, you know,
Y'all hear that
facing
badass V8 in this
election,
buggy
they
I'm
thought
pushing?
they were going to win everything, and they were going to be able to move the plan forward. So they put out a lot of white papers
Nah, I think you got a sleeper.
In another episode,
Yeah.
we've talked about, and I will go over soon.
Got a little bit of
Wait,
weed
what?
in the
One
wheel.
about
Huh?
social
Ah.
No, I
in
said, check out this
2016, they
V8
put a long
that's
white paper about
in
the
my
role of faith,
buggy.
and
You
that's
hear it?
where Klaus Schwab is directly
This
Yeah.
joke is pulling me through the
saying,
store.
as a matter of fact, directly quoted saying that values cannot be justified by the intellectual process alone. Faith must be involved. That's what he said.
Nah,
So
this
here's-
thing's got
here's what this
weave
white
in one
paper
of the
says
wheels.
in its introduction. The World Economic Forum recognizes that faith plays a dynamic and evolving role in our society.
Stereotypical Walmart
Demographic
buggy wheel
trends
weave.
suggest the number of faith adherents will increase over the next 2 decades while the secular population will decrease. People of faith therefore have profound impacts on community mobilizing. Sounds like something Barack Obama would do, for both productive and damaging purposes. The power of faith to impact global issues and shape global perspectives is a fundamental reason why the Forum consistently engages faith leaders and perspectives in our work. As a part of our efforts to incorporate an understanding of the impact of faith in our analysis of complex global trends and challenges, the Forum established a Global Agenda Council on the role of faith. Council members comprise the
Doors,
world's
huge as
foremost
hell, man.
experts to provide thought leadership that furthers the faith agenda within Forum's activities. Over its most recent 2-year term, the Council worked to raise social awareness about sociocultural, cross-faith, and religious engagement efforts for the purposes of conflict prevention and societal transformation. A Marxist, faith to accomplish Marxist goals. Conflict prevention, so they don't want it to be ugly, and societal transformation. The Council aimed to transform perspectives on faith in government and in the private sector, especially in nations experiencing dramatic change, which, as we now see a few years later, would be all of them.
Shit.
So beyond the numbers, beyond just numbers of people, billions,
I killed him too early.
what does the World Economic Forum see within religious faiths? It's not just that there's huge amounts of people and money and resources, and importantly,
Damn
distribution
it.
networks, educational networks, but what they see is a huge opportunity, an opportunity to reshape values in particular, because that's what faith allows them to do, like Klaus Schwab said. And in fact, we get this reiterated by the chair of the Global Agenda Council on the role of faith at the World Economic Forum, Brian Grimm, which is a funny name.
The goddamn bacon.
Given the circumstances,
Said,
he says, from climate
At
change
Rusty
to gender
Rivers,
parity,
think about it.
the World
What
Economic
are
Forum
women
has
built
identified
biologically
critical
for
global
compared to
systemic
men?
challenges that require collaboration from across different sectors. Understanding the
Yep.
dynamic role faith has in tackling
I
each
mean, you know,
is the aim of this set of articles.
you demonize true femininity and tell them to pretend to be men.
First, to address global and
You know, in
systemic
nature,
challenges requires not only
and this is a fun little fact, Bacon. A lot of people don't know this. In nature, when a lioness goes without coming across any male interaction, she will eventually begin to develop her own mane and start to hump the other female lions and form her own pride. Oh yeah, they're built to have babies. That's obvious. That was part of their
Rusty Rivers.
lot in life.
Said,
Those were part of the cards they
Built
were
to have
dealt.
babies.
It's like we were shit. Shit. Damn it, I fucked up. Yeah, they are built to have babies.
practice.
They're built to.
Also committed
They
to
were.
certain
They had their
and
role
needed
in
policy,
life,
economic and social changes sustainable.
and we had our
When they say
role,
sustainable, by
and,
the way,
and
what they mean is
some
that the regime that they achieved is
angry
sustainable.
old cunts that didn't want to go along with that standard.
Learning, for example, they keep explaining that step 5 in the implementation
You know,
process
got
is
in bed with the
sustainability.
government
Or
and
that
started getting a bunch of rules and policies passed that just fucked everybody.
Or walked back or taken out because you've built in a set of policies
Who is
that
this?
allow those to come back out. So when they say sustainable, they mean sustaining.
Oh, it's Outlaw again.
At any rate,
Yeah, I thought we lost Outlaw.
but again, also
Not that I looked or
policies
anything, it
that
was just
make the
a
needed policy,
feeling.
Economic and social changes sustainable. See, they're going to transform the world, and if you don't have the values that match the world that they're putting into play, then you're not going to want to keep going. And their changes are
Not that
gonna be
Outlaw
sustainable.
has any trouble with his phone or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Sounds like he's having trouble right now.
And so they have to
Well,
transfer
I don't want to
values,
be
or as
accused of
Marx phrased
projecting.
it in Essay on Liberation, there has to be a transvaluation of values. Values have to be reinterpreted into a new form. You have to have values that you have be reinterpreted to mean something different than what they were. The transvaluation of values. And he says we're going to get the new world. In fact, he says we're going to get a new sensibility with a new rationality to create a new reality on the back of a biological foundation of socialism that will be achieved by introjection of new values that have been transvaluated or transformed from previous values. Transvaluation means it's like reevaluation, except that you're transforming. So you reevaluate your values to change them into something else. You change the meaning.
The goddamn
of, say,
bacon
love thy neighbor.
said.
You change the meaning
At
of the
Rusty
values
Rivers,
so that it means
correct.
something else. And in fact, what it
Not
means
to
is
say they can't do
socialism.
other things,
Get too
and
old
they
for this
have
shit.
other roles, but yes, they're built for that and what comes with it, specifically choosing who does it and their competitors.
The funny part that confuses me is I always hear they're looking for the best genes,
Critical analysis to blah, blah,
but
blah. All that means is that they're going to redefine blah, blah,
that
blah.
would imply that women could sniff good
Is what they'll
genes.
usually call it. So
But if all these men they keep getting with their shit,
a commitment
would that not mean
innovations in policy and practice
that
commitment to certain
they can in fact not tell what good genes are?
policy, economic, and
And good genes is, because you know, good genes ain't gonna raise good kids.
defined by the communists trying to take over the world. And values
You know, the only thing that's gonna raise good kids is good morals, ethics, values, and principles.
World Economic Forum founder and executive chairman, Professor Klaus Schwab, speaking to the globalism
Woo! Make me work here.
cannot be justified by the intellectual process alone.
Primo Living BC.
Ah.
Welcome to my channel. Primo Living BC.
Yo, what's up, Primo? How you doing,
What's up,
brother?
gentlemen? Primo Living BC.
Ah, you bitch!
What's up, Chaos Brother?
Oh my gosh, the government made me. Including the religious institutions and to sustain faith offer a deep spring of values
Oh, you know, getting that grind for 100%.
Rusty
for
Rivers
long-term commitment to
said.
Listening
Yo,
to,
Lulu. Primo.
addressing the challenges what we're
listening to some,
from climate change
kind of educational stuff.
blah, blah,
It's
blah.
James Lindsay. I don't
The
know if you know
goddamn
who he
bacon.
is or not.
Said.
Handle it the way they tell
Right
us to.
place,
And they're going to
right
install
moment,
values of,
right
say,
circumstances.
simplicity.
Don't
Compliance,
take what
actually.
women
The
say they want at
ESG, by the
face
way, is kind of on
value.
the ropes, if
They
you
don't
haven't
know
noticed.
what they
It's still
want.
Well,
dominant,
clearly.
It's getting punched pretty hard and it's getting knocked around. And so there's been a suggestion.
And I'll say that's where a lot of the red pill rage comes from, because you know we get told this, and we hear this, and then
What is it? Something like
you know 2 and 2 doesn't add up, and eventually we kind of spurg out. Because it's like we've had enough. We finally
Primo
realized
Living BC.
we were lied to. We were right the whole fucking
At Chaos,
time.
I'm doing well. I was just playing chess with brother Eric. Hope you're doing
Nice.
well, brother.
Yeah, I'm doing about as good as I could be at this time.
Citizenship.
Um,
Because as the dialectic turns out of woke, which is kind
Shit.
of a new world.
There's my lighter I was looking for.
I guess idealism.
Just
or
keeping
ideals
myself
around
distracted
identity politics.
until
And it
Primo Living
You know.
into
BC.
this sustainability,
said,
material politics, and the
What's up,
dialectic
brother
grinds
Rusty
out of
Rivers?
that
still
eventually
chasing the
Rusty
rabbit
Rivers.
holes.
global cultural
Said,
consciousness will be the thing
Who
that
won
operates.
Primo?
And so we have to think of ourselves as global
Oh, Eric
citizens
probably
as
won, no
dialectic
doubt.
progresses. So that's what we're actually talking about. And faith is necessary. They need faith.
Well, I don't know, but rumor has it he beat
Your faith is
Primo once in 24 moves, once in 18.
Oh
But
goddamn!
that's just allegedly.
informed by your
That's
faith.
just allegedly.
Transvaluing
I mean, that's a lot more than me.
of values. A new form that will uphold sustainably the program that they
My first game against him, I didn't
Living
last very
BC.
long, but that second one, I lasted a little bit longer.
Yep, Eric is really good.
tested out.
The goddamn bacon.
Education,
Said,
successful in education,
Yeah,
having
I get
conquered
ya.
the
That's
colleges
what
of education,
experience
and from there
teaches
grabbing
you.
the teachers,
What actually
from there
works
grabbing
in that
all
moment.
the
Yep.
students.
And we can sit there
It
and
is
tell
clear
them,
in religion
but
is going to
they're
sit
not
there
gonna
and
learn.
learn
They're still gonna go out and make their own mistakes.
Analog of the colleges of education. You're not training teachers, you're training pastors who are in another sense a kind of teacher. So So you're going to capture the seminaries.
It just
to capture
boggles
the
my
pastors,
mind that they
to capture
don't
the laity,
practice what they
congregations to come
preach.
to the church services, and that's how you're
You
going
know?
to do it. And guess what? They already have the seminaries. They already have them. And now they're going after the
That's
conventions. So
that's
they're
the
taking these
part that I
churches,
think really
from another angle, from
gets a
public
lot of
policy,
men
from
like
top-down,
that
something
little
looking like a public-private
snap.
partnership.
It's like they ain't
But
practicing
actually, in
what
this
they
case, a
preaching. What the
public-faith partnership,
fuck?
because the Department of Justice is moving in. It is into this space that
And
politics
you know, I could understand, you know, having a problem with that. It's like, how you gonna say one thing and do complete opposite? Like, just out and say
Primo
it,
Living
you
BC
know? Shit.
said,
Be better
I
off
like
knowing
to
the
play
truth.
people who ate better than me so I can become a better player. If I always played people who I can beat, that's not my style.
We haven't played yet. I want to play
We
you.
talked about in the previous episode. Now, we did leave off in the previous episode.
I'm
What'd
not-
you say? You want to play with him?
I said I wanna play him in some chess.
Oh, sorry, my hearing's bad.
Maybe if you got the dick out your ear, you'd be able to hear better.
From the previous episode, discussing those ways.
Oh, and I know you're fucked in the head. That's why you got a dick in your ear, but
And so now, about a quarter of the way through the chapter, it turns
Damn.
to the role playing of the church. And where we left off, if you are a regular follower, if you're just listening because you're a churchgoer or you're a pastor or whatever, and you're interested in this episode, you can go back and listen to the previous episode. They all build off of each other. But we left off with Paulo Freire explaining why it isn't possible to have liberatory education in the untransformed world. So you have to have transformation of the world before you have the transformed education. And it's a bit circular. And thus suggesting that the way that we would have to get there is to simply start doing it, not through technique, but through conviction to a new system. And I identified that in the previous episode with the WISC model of education, WSCC WISC, which stands for Whole School, Whole Child, Whole Community Model of Education. So anywhere you see those words, we're going to educate the whole child, you should probably freak out. It's not the school's job. Definitely not what should be going on. It's a Marxist program. You should not be educating the whole child, and you shouldn't be doing it through the whole school, and you shouldn't be doing it through the whole community in partnership with it, so that you have one huge reflexive monster. Turns out they're actually building these social emotional learning churches already. You can go on castle.org, casel.org, the Castle website, and you can look up their task force for, it's not a task force, it's a initiative for creating what they call communities of practice, which are social emotional learning community churches. They're not real churches. They don't teach explicit theology. They teach this woke Marxist theology. And the goal is to make it so the entire community, not just the school, not just every subject in the school, not just every extracurricular activity at the school, but the home, the store, everything reflects social emotional learning, brainwashing back into the students. And they're going to call them communities of practice, which are going to be churches, but devoted to a completely different religion. And if they can scoop up your church to bring in your faith angle to transmute those values or transvalue those values, they will. But we're sticking with Freire here.
Primo
Freire
Living
turns
BC
explicitly religious
said,
at this point in
at
the
Chaos
chapter,
we will
about a third of the
definitely
way
play.
through,
I
and
can tell
says,
that you're good
actually,
at chess by
what
the
he's
way you
offering
play
is a
other
matter of
games.
prophecy.
I am definitely
And
an
you have to
outside the
read
box
that,
thinker.
Given the history, if you understand the theology of Marxism, if you don't,
I know how to play, but I don't. I'm I'm not that good. I'm okay.
The program is hermetic alchemy that's being driven by Gnostic heresy. And if you don't understand that, we're completely lost. But when he says it's a matter of prophecy, what it actually means is alchemical prophecy or hermetic prophecy. So it's a prophecy made within the faith tradition of the mystery religion of hermetic alchemy. And so what does that look like? What is that prophecy? They're all self-fulfilling prophecies where you project out into the world what you want to see, and then you do the work to make it happen. That's how they work. So you project the circumstances that you want to bring about into the world, the activism that you want to achieve, and then you get people to believe that that's what's happening and that they have to go along with it. In fact, that it's inevitable
The goddamn
if they don't
bacon
go along with it. So they go
said,
along with it.
Damn,
This is
I know that's a hard
crazy
lesson
shit.
to learn,
Something's
but I
going on
figured
there.
that was a simple one once you took enough time to figure it out or had others help.
Make these small
Akin
changes.
to not
Yeah.
asking the dear you're hinted
You're
how
gonna
to
fit in with
really.
the changes and you're taken care of. You try to resist it, it's an inevitable change. You're not going to be able to resist it. That's a prophecy in the Hermetic faith. We're going to transform the world, and you're either going to come with us or you're going to be destroyed. And so a lot of people believe that. because
Yeah, no, a lot of us were just thrown into the deep end and told learn how to swim and figure it out for yourself. I was a latchkey kid, dude. I didn't really have either parent to help me with much.
Whatever it happens to be. So they go along with it and make it come true. That's how an alchemical prophecy works. That's how Hermeticism actually works in the world as a kind of fake magical mystery religion. And that's exactly what Freire is referring to, because that's what Marxism is. So I'm not interpreting things here, by the way, when I call it prophetic.
I have the
This is
unfortunate
exactly
luxury
what
of being able
Paul
to.
is talking about.
What's the word I'm looking
chapter
for?
is dedicated to the development or the emergence of what Freire calls the prophetic church, which is what the last section in the chapter is about, is the prophetic church.
Empathy
Now, if you
and
remember
apathy.
the introduction to this book, you go way back. If you're new here on the podcast, don't worry, we'll cover it at some point.
I don't know. I don't even know if those are the right words.
Henry Giroux in the fourth.
I was going to say, what's apathy?
I've
Explained what's meant by
the opposite of empathy.
Paulo Freire is offering
Yeah.
a permanent prophetic vision for both education and for religion.
I know empathy, but I'm trying to think. I don't know.
Let me
I'm
look
brain
it
dead.
up. Let me look it up.
And it's again the future of education.
I got up too
and
early.
society produces, including the
Yeah, me too.
using the churches to get
Apathy, lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern.
And so Freire will compare this prophetic church against the
And
revolutionary
empathy
church,
is the caring for others?
Yes.
the revolutionary and bad, and also against the modernizing church, which plays this kind of naive, shrewd role.
Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others.
And apathy is not giving a shit.
Pretty much.
Okay.
In other words, indifference. Except my indifference is like, I'm just cutting you out of my life altogether. That's the kind of indifference I have.
Exactly.
And so this is obviously some false prophet kind of stuff when he talks about it being.
Apathy can be normal is only an indicator of underlying disease when feelings become excessive, all-consuming, and interfere with daily living.
Introduction. It's in a section in the introduction for.
Says it's part of clinical depression.
When we look back at this kind of very enthusiastic evangelist, Henry Giroux.
You're a restless sleeper. You wake up early,
Remember, Giroux is the person who
and you
made
don't
Freire
care
in the US.
what people
He
think.
wasn't the same
You're
person.
clinically depressed.
Giroux
Indeed.
sucked into the cult. Like,
Well, fuck.
According to this.
Marxist tenure,
Aren't we all?
and then he thrust this book in 1985 in front
It's
of
derived from Greek,
in the late 70s.
M meaning in, and pathos meaning feeling.
The plane of the critical theft of education. Okay, and so I think that when we hear what what Henry Giroux had to say about Paulo Freire and his role with the church.
I tell you what, though, this other word in German here, Einfühlung. Einfühlung? I don't even. Let's see if the TTS thought can say it.
KS4728 said, Einfühlung.
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 Einfühlung. Oh my God. So you just gotta listen to the word. Okay. So that's German. You just add a ein and mung at the end to something, and you're speaking German. That's pretty simple.
H is silent.
And according to, I think it was when I was
The goddamn
translating
bacon.
Japanese,
Said, whoops. Meant to
it
say
was
hunting.
saying bingasaru, saksaru, dikaru. So if that's actual Japanese, then I'm gonna be fucking I'm fucking bilingual, bitches. Holy shit.
I'm feeling well.
And speaking facts about Bingus, I mean, it's a win-win.
Man, I know, right?
Had to reload my afternoon deliveries. I have an empty helium tank. Me. Contents
Oh,
under pressure.
damn.
Watch out, Doug. I might take out the train today. Primo Living BC.
Yeah,
said,
yeah, that's the big
"You
trick
have to
behind
sound
German.
like you're angry when speaking German."
Very chilling,
That's the big
Right.
trick behind German. You have to sound like you're angry.
Ah, no.
But what he
Just
wrote
Otherwise,
the
it
father
doesn't.
sounds just angry.
is a
Just,
philosophical
just
vision
sounds
of the
angry, but it's
religion.
not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very
Also,
Marxist.
and
The
also
nature of this
depends what
vision is
kind of German,
rooted in
because
a
there are different
respect for
dialects.
life,
Right.
Marxists see it, and the acknowledgement that the hope and vision of the future that inspire
If
it
someone
are not
from
meant
over
to
here
provide
in the
consolation
south,
to the oppressed,
someone and
as
is
much as to
talking
promote
with
ongoing
somebody
forms of critique
from the
of
north,
struggle
where
against objective forces of
for
oppression.
where Hamburg is or
So
something
when
like
they
that,
say life,
then
by the
it
way, we
sounds
don't have
totally
real
different.
life until there's no oppression. So everybody has to be freed up from the fall of man. That is the division of labor, and we have to live in communism. That's the way their religion went. By combining the dynamics of critique and collective struggle, this is what Giroux says in the introduction. By combining the dynamics of critique and collective struggle with a philosophy of hope, Freire
My
has created a
data's
opportunity
starting to
which rooted in what he calls
tank.
a permanent prophetic vision. Underlying this prophetic vision is a faith that, as Dorothy Soel argued in Choosing Life, that, quote, makes life present to us and so makes it possible. It is a great yes to life, one that presupposes our power to struggle, end quote. So, continuing with Giroux, Freire's attack against all forms of oppression is
Primo Living BC
ideology critique
said,
with collective action.
"I'm
And
Dutch.
the prophetic
It
vision
sounds
central
very
to
similar to
politics is
German.
heavily indebted to
Dutch was the
spirit,
first language I learned to
ideological
speak
dynamics,
because of
and
my
both inform and
grandparents."
characterize the
Well,
qualities of liberation.
when
That is
asked
very
if you
primarily
speak
defined
German,
by
isn't it
early
sprechen Sie
1970s.
Deutsch?
Let me make it very, very clear here that Giroux
Ja,
has
ja.
ideas that what Paulo Freire's
You know,
vision is that became the basis for woke is a
so fragen alle.
It is not ambiguous.
Huh?
I'm sorry, whatever people you're listening to who want to go on podcasts and say,
Exactly how it
woke
sounds.
is not a religion.
That's what they were all they
I can't
asked.
help you when it says that it literally is a religion right here. I can't help you. Underlying his prophetic vision is a faith that is a great yes that presupposes our power to struggle. This is a religion. It's a faith. It's not ambiguous.
Jeez.
We'll do more podcasts explaining how
Primo
it's a faith
Living
as we go
BC
forward because that's apparently
said,
necessary.
"Gya gya.
You can also go
Machi
watch
Alex.
putting out right
Welcome to
now.
my channel."
Yo, what's up,
Mochi
Mochi?
Alex
How you doing, brother?
said,
Series
"Hola,
along with
amigo."
Mochi.
Fallon, who's a free follow
I have.
series.
Hola,
Spanish.
¿cómo está
Beginning
ustedes?
of June. Those are coming out now, where we outline the dialectical phase of
See,
leftism, the
I know a
theological
little bit,
and how it's
not
been
everything.
developed
I
towards
can't
the
carry on a
development of the
conversation.
world. It's a huge,
Primo Living
important
BC
piece, so I encourage you
said,
to look those up on the software.
"What's
Well,
up, Machi
Romanian
brother?"
is my mother language, German is my second, and
Back to
English
this
is
thing
my
of
third.
religion, it's straight out of liberation theology. which
English is
set
my
out in truly
first and
dialectical
only.
fashion. You know, it's a Marxist dialectical faith.
I know little bits and pieces of everything
The
else.
radical underside of revolutionary
Primo Living
Christianity.
BC
In case
said,
you wonder what it is.
"Heriken. What's up, brother?"
This is the basis of woke, and the basis. So woke is a religion, right? There's
And
that concept
ironically,
and if you're a
the
Christian, it's a
my English
heresy.
teacher who I had in
Poisoning your
high school,
faith. You should
he,
probably be aware
he
of this.
learned and he adapted
So
Rusty
quickly.
Rivers
discover in this book,
said,
Freire is a harsh critic of the
"Hola,
reactionary
Alex."
church. That's probably your church, by the way. If you don't agree with woke, it's definitely your church. At the same time, he situates his faith and sense of hope in the God of history and of the oppressed. The God of history and of the oppressed. So what is that? Well, that's the Marxist take on the structure of history, but now actually calling it God instead of it being the projected, perfected man at the end of history. The God of history is
Bong time! Smoke if you got it!
Said,
the God of history is the true
Primo.
God behind the demiurge.
Dude, can we trade?
No, we can't wait. It's bong time.
No, not wait, trade.
The work.
Ah, dude, it's your own discretion. I'm doing my bong with or without you.
Somebody out
Ooh, can we give you a legal prostitution if you give us the weed?
This is gonna last me until I get some more.
To quote, reconcile Christian love with the exploitation of human beings. Within the discourse of theology of liberation, fashions a powerful theoretical antidote to the cynicism and despair of
Rusty
many
Rivers
left radical critics.
Said,
Utopian character
"Don't
is
choke
analysis,
chaos."
is concrete in its
Oh,
mission
yeah.
of appeal, and takes as its starting point collective actors in their various historical settings and the particularity of their problems and forms of oppression. It is utopian, and this is a key part, it's in bold in my notes. It is utopian only in the sense that it refuses to surrender to the risks and dangers that face all challenges to dominant power structures. It is prophetic in that it views the kingdom of God as something to be created on earth only through a faith in both other human beings and the necessity of permanent struggle. Is anybody confused about what we're working with here? Please tell me if you're confused. The notion of faith that emerges in Freire's work is informed by
Primo
the memory
Living
of the
BC
oppressed, suffering that
said,
must not be allowed to continue.
"I am ordering
and the
some
need to
green
never
right now.
forget that the prophetic
Probably
vision
going
is
with
an
the
ongoing
Tyson again.
process, a
Might
vital
try some new
aspect of the
stuff
very
also.
nature of
I'll
human
keep you
life."
guys posted."
Yeah, shit,
Remember
they still
that
haven't
the
done nothing to that.
says that what
Good
makes a religion is that
stuff,
it's consistent with
man.
belief and practice. It answers fundamental questions about the world and man's role in it, such that it gives rise to duty of conscience. The need to never forget. This is back to George. The need to
Did
never
they
forget
already
that
kill the
everything is
guy?
an
They
ongoing
show
process
did
of
kill the other guy already.
participate in.
Hey, how you doing? Aw, I didn't get a multiple execution option.
In short, by combining the discourses of critical
Missed it,
possibility, Freire
goddamn.
joins history
I
and theology
did.
and provides the theoretical basis for a radical pedagogy that combines hope, critical reflection, and collective struggle. It is at this juncture that the work of Paulo
Polska
Freire
Bob
becomes crucial to the
said,
development of a radical pedagogy.
"Speaking of drugs, I gotta go pick up some shrooms later."
For in Freire,
So what's the score so far, Polska?
contradictions and emancipation. And Freire's work, the discourse is developing that bridges the
30 to 1.
relationship between agency and structure. A discourse that situates human action in constraints forged in historical and contemporary practices, while also pointing to the spaces, contradictions, and forms of resistance that raise the possibility for social struggle. I will conclude by turning
Oh,
briefly
he's
to the
getting more
theoretical
screws.
elements in
Nice.
Freire's work that are vital for developing a new language and theoretical foundation for a radical theory of pedagogy, particularly in the North American context, where installing, at least in the United States, a religion in public schools is against the First Amendment. It is a huge First Amendment violation, but never mind. So that's jury on the religion that we're dealing with here, and it is going to be a heresy that is infecting your churches, and the mechanism will be the same. Freire's ideas were brought into the Colleges of Education. The College of Education trains teachers and administrators. It went on to indoctrinate, or actually Marxist program, now the reprogramming or re-education program the children.
Polska Bob
So, capture the College
said,
of Education, get the
"Fucking
teachers and
Doug got on me
administrators,
right out of the gate
indoctrinate
this
the program.
morning. Polska 0 Doug 1."
Education, and then capture the seminaries, train the future theologians, pastors, and administrators so that you can get the laity. That's the same process. It's already in process for progress. Unfortunately for you, it took them about 30 or 40 years to figure it out in education, and things are going to move a little faster in churches. And you're about 10 out of
Oh,
projects
where are you at
15
right
years
now?
for full transformation, and you're over
I'm running around
12.
with
So
with
it
an
will
old.
flip
I gotta kill the
right here,
Mongols.
and, the process of bringing the public sector through the Department of Justice into
It's a side quest that I'm doing for the old lady archer.
nonsense that was designed specifically to do this. Well, so welcome
Eddie
to the
Masako.
future of your
Yeah.
life. It will have to be prophetic
Okay,
on
that's
Marxist
right.
terms unless we put a stop to this. And so let me make an important note for pastors. Your primary job is to shepherd souls.
Yeah, my
and
family.
people,
Now I'm gonna kill you.
have them, if I might make so bold. And so everybody who gets sucked into this is committing a heresy. And if you believe what you believe, you know where they're going because of it. And so you might really want to make a stand. This isn't, if the Great Commission means anything, you really might want to think about doing everything you can to prevent.
You see,
numbers
part of me
human
wants to
beings
send
being
this
sucked
to
into a Christian
my pastor
heresy or cult that's going to get them
because he quotes
So just something to
he
think about.
quotes people that
Some of the things
I
starting to make sense once we start to
when
realize
you
how
start
successful
digging
Freire
into
was
their
in bringing
thinking,
Freirian ideas into
they're
the
they're
education movement
they're
and
not
applicable throughout
necessarily
North America
theologians
and
at all.
particularly the United States. We can see more clearly how the critical
Where
theory of
the
education
fuck are
is,
you?
a huge theft of education, and it was also not a critical term, but a theological term in education to the theology of Marxism. Okay, let me say that again. The critical turn in education, which has book-length treatments about it, some of which we've read here on the podcast. The critical turn in education is a theological turn in education.
I've killed everybody.
Of Marxism. It will be the same in your churches. It will be a theological turn to a theology of Marxism wearing a pastor's frock. I know that pastors just wear like t-shirts and jeans, and priests wear frocks, but we can get past these things. So our colleges of education became Marxist seminaries, and our schools became Marxist religious schools or Sunday schools, using Freirian thought reform to transform our kids into change agents dedicated to transforming the world.
The
now,
cushy
Klaus
border.
sees the potential in this and says, wow, we could not only do this in schools, we could do this in churches, because that's where you're really going to transform values. He sees the opportunity in schools through pushing social emotional learning, which we have.
I might have to.
Big time into that, but it's also going to happen in a huge World Economic Forum agenda.
I might have to do a load here.
Understand social emotional learning is actually happening in churches
Polska
now, too.
Bob
Aren't you guys
said,
just so clever falling
"What
for
you
that trick?"
listening to chaos?"
Let's move on.
So,
We've got
this is James Lindsay,
what's actually happening here.
and the title of this is Paulo Freire and the Marxist Transformation of the Church. And this involves shit that I'm interested in, and the rabbit holes I go down, and I have very much noticed that there is a slight things aren't what they should be in in my spiritual world.
The goddamn bacon said, "I might have to do a load here. New pickup line XD."
Damn.
Constantly denounces and
We're
refuses
deep in the rabbit hole.
Might have to do a load here.
Constant denunciation of whatever is. Will they get their way? That's a new thing that is. You denounce that too. Nothing.
I saw the body. Where the fuck did he go?
For example, in politics, I don't know. They passed this gigantic fake Inflation Reduction Act that's actually, something completely different, like the Build Back Better bill, in a new outfit.
Build Back Better.
And the second they get it, you see an article in Vox coming out and saying, well, it does all these sweeping changes, but it doesn't even talk about how climate damaging beef production is. It doesn't go far enough. The second you get the thing, you denounce that thing too. That's the mechanism. You don't have to have a grand conspiracy where everybody's read Freire, or everybody's read Marx, or everybody's read Marcuse or Mao, or Lenin or Stalin, or any of these people in order to do this. You only have to train people to see the world as intrinsically a problem and to denounce whatever there is, and do that endlessly. That's just literally two things. And then they will go and tear apart the world like an acid.
Nobody to be found.
Okay?
No.
So
There's somewhere, just
idea, though, of
I don't know where.
recreate the whole of education in this way that Freire was talking about. He also sees this in religion. This is before 1985, so he's looking back. This was written probably in the 70s while he was in Geneva, if I had to guess, working for the World Council of Churches. And what he said already then, is he said a growing number of Christians in Latin America are discovering these things and finding themselves forced to take sides, either to change their naivety into shrewdness and constantly align themselves with the ideology of domination, or to join forces with the oppressed and in full identification with them seek true liberation. We've already stated that if they renounce their uncritical adherence to the dominant classes, their new apprenticeship with the people presents a challenge. In meeting this challenge, they encounter risks formerly unknown.
Where in the fuck are you, my guy?
First of all, the apprenticeship that he's referring to is the personal.
I'm a hunting me a Mongol.
Or it doesn't count. And so
I just don't know where the fuck he
it
is.
says you have to die and be reborn on the side of the oppressed. And so now we're going to see him retool Christianity and Christian practices into Marxist liberation theology in that fashion. And we'll come back to that in just a second, continuing with his words. The other thing that I want to point out already, and get this in your head, is that he says that there's this naive and the shrewd, right? Well, what do they do? Well, the naive don't understand the nature of power, but the shrewd understand the nature of power, and they suck up to the existing power. So what you would have is this inversion of what he's actually talking about going on in the world today. There are certain among your churches who are in fact very shrewdly
See,
aligning with
there's
the dominant
nobody
power
over there.
structure that's coming in, pretending something else is the dominant power structure. The old way is still dominant, and everybody knows that's not true. You don't get kicked off of Twitter for echoing the regime. You get kicked off of Twitter for challenging the regime. We know where the power is. So the shrewd people are the ones that suck up to the existing power to make things in line with it while trying to look like they're not. Can you name anybody who's doing that, like Russell Moore?
Oh, there we go. Yo, what's up?
Maybe you can think of some people who are doing that. Pope
Bitch.
Francis, perhaps? I don't know. Maybe that one was a little bit off. You can think of some people that are in that category. We'll come back to these people. They're pretending to be somebody who's protecting the church for the people, if you will. I mean, be careful with that because the Marxists own that terminology. But in fact, they are sucking up to and aligning with the new dominant power that they think is an inevitable transforming agent that they have to go along with. And in so doing, they're creating conditions under which the alchemical prophecy can be fulfilled. Alchemical prophecies are only fulfilled when people believe them and go along with it. They are reflexive. They are not true. The inevitability of a reflexive move is only when people believe it's inevitable and make it come true. And then everything collapses because it's alchemy, magic's fake.
Duelo.
When you make the elixir of life, you're still drinking mercury, you still go crazy, you still die. Doesn't work. Okay, so let's go back and review quickly before I go on forward again. Also, this personal Easter, death, resurrection thing. Let me just go and read that section to you. It's going to come up a few times in this, so better to just cover it. This is the part earlier in the same chapter where for educators and religious leaders.
This guy's got one of those flaming sword
Like
things.
was just mentioned, he says.
Yes, but also a shield. Or what? Still what?
So you've gone through
Yeah.
this in committing themselves to the oppressed. They begin
Welcome
to
back,
fulfill
Outlaw.
apprenticeship. This is not, however, to
What's
say
up,
that the
guys?
commitment to the oppressed is
Welcome
never
back.
final.
Had to pay out and go home.
Severely tested during the course of this new
How
apprenticeship.
bad your wallet?
In a more serious and profound way.
She's aching, but it ain't.
Ah! Ah! Bitch! Bitch! I'm a cheat!
Apprenticeship will violently break down the elitist concept of existence and absorb
She got a little bruise and stuff.
The apprenticeship begins as they, first of all, they really experience their own Easter. That they die as elitists, so as to be resurrected on the side of the oppressed. That they be born again with the beings who are not allowed to be. Such a process implies a renunciation of myths that are dear to them, the myth of their superiority, of the purity of their soul, of their virtues, their wisdom, the myth that they save the poor, the myth of the neutrality of the church, of theology, education, science, technology, the myth of their own
As I
individuality.
didn't something, but it wasn't too bad.
These are the other myths of the inferiority of other people, of their spiritual and physical impurity, and of the absolute ignorance.
Okay, did you get one bag of groceries or two?
Must be existentially experienced. The real Easter is
For
not
free.
figurative rhetoric. It is praxis. It is historical involvement. P.S. That means it is Marxism. The old Easter of rhetoric.
Which it ain't too often I get out of there
Resurrection.
with under $100.
Easter. Christians. It is only in the authenticity of historical praxis.
That's
that
one of
means
them rare
Marxist
times.
activism. That's all it means. It is only in the authenticity of historical praxis that Easter becomes the death that makes life possible. But the bourgeois worldview, basically necrophiliac, which means death-loving, and therefore static, is unable to accept the supremely
Are you driving?
life-philiac,
You driving still
life-loving
Indy?
experience of Easter.
Yeah, kinda.
Which is far more than just a
I'll
brilliant
still
abstraction,
show you this.
kills the
box
profound
of-
historical dynamism of Easter
Where'd
and
it
turns
go?
it into no more than a date on the calendar.
Beer, Budweiser
The
flavored
lust
cheese
to
sticks,
possess, a
man.
sign of the necrophiliac worldview, rejects the deeper meaning of
I
resurrection.
ain't never heard of
Why
such.
should I be interested in rebirth if I hold in my hands as objects to be possessed the torn body and soul of the oppressed? I can only experience rebirth at the side of the oppressed by being born again with them in the process of
You don't see
liberation.
what them taste
I
like
cannot
later on
turn
again.
such a rebirth into a means of owning the world, since it is essentially a means of transforming the world.
That sounds gross.
That's what Freire says about that.
Yeah.
That's the context in which
Kinda
we're working.
does,
Let's
but-
not forget it. And
You
so,
don't even
focus on
drink
Marxist
beer.
apprenticeship, that's what he's talking about. And here's
know.
how he's going
I'm
to
still
retort
young and
Christianity
curious,
into
I guess.
practice with Marxist liberation theology scheme.
What kind of beer did you get?
Modernizers who are shrewd. in
No,
their,
it's
devil
Budweiser flavored
work,
cheese
we'll say.
sticks.
So
Oh.
he
I guess
says,
the bread
during
in
what
his-
we are calling their new
I guess the
apprenticeship,
bread in
many
his
Christians
Budweiser?
soon
I
realize
don't
that
know.
previously we were
Oh.
engaged in purely palliative action, whether social
We'll try
or
'em later
religious,
on and
for
give you
example,
guys
fervent support of maxims
review.
such as, quote, the family that prays together stays together.
I think
They
something
were
you'd
praised
get out of
for
a
their Christian virtues.
Twin Peaks or
They now begin to
Hooters
realize,
or
however,
something.
that the family that prays together
Sir,
also
I
knows
hate to
how
tell you
important
this,
bread,
but
clothing,
if you
health,
go,
and
if you
education
eat
for their
that,
children, that they
you
will
you
express
probably
themselves
gonna
in the world
die.
by creating and recreating it. In other words, being Marxist. That
Yeah,
their
that's why I
bodies
don't
and
make it a
souls
habit to
and
buy
dignity
stuff
must
like
be
this.
respected if they are to stay together in more than suffering and misery. So we're going to now transform the meaning of the family that prays together and stays together.
That's
by
a
saying
that's a
that it
one-time
requires all
event,
this
guys.
Marxist crap
I
to
don't
make it
think
work.
I'll ever buy that
As the
again.
memes say, sounds like communist propaganda, but okay.
The goddamn
Quote,
bacon.
back to Freire, when
Said,
Yeah, you better watch it. That might
check
be your
your
gateway.
Discord
the very
chaos.
faith being called into
Yeah.
question by
Alright.
those who wish to have even more political,
I'm gonna
economic,
get hooked on
and
drinking.
ecclesiastical
No,
power for
no, no.
reshaping
No, he'll stop
the
drinking.
See what we
consciousness of
got
others.
here.
In other words, when they begin
I
to
gotta
see that
screen
there's more
this
to it
before
than just
I-
their naive, they begin to waken up and have some consciousness to the Marxist.
Well, Hemi, I would
reality.
suggest not to
And
do
say
it, but
something.
anything to get him in tights, I'm
They'll go to their
for.
pastor, and their pastor will say, "We have to question your faith. Maybe your faith in God is being shaken." And so that Freire is
Oh,
criticizing
goddamn.
and saying that that is a manipulation of power, as a matter of fact. And it's always the same excuse, isn't it?
I
It's
could
not
share that
they're
with
becoming
everybody.
Heretics, it's that the established authorities want
that?
to maintain their power.
Alright, are you on my stream?
Yeah.
Alright, we're gonna have to enlarge this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Minimize this. Here's the only
Man.
appropriate thing to do.
Man. Man.
Man. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
When you feel yourself die inside more.
A little bit, yeah.
Appreciate that contribution, Bacon. That,
Bacon.
you helped us die a little bit more inside there.
You know there's somebody somewhere that finds fruit like that and goes to work.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. Idle hands lead to the devil's work, don't you know?
Mhm. Don't fuck fruit, guys.
But it makes, yeah, I don't know. I've never done it, so I don't know.
I mean, that's what you're into, guys, but
That's a little weird. Just don't get
Yeah.
caught. That's all I've gotta say. But if you get caught, own up to it and learn not to get caught next time. 'Cause nobody needs to see that shit ever in their life. My ex, me and her best friend she was surfing for weird videos on the interweb, and one of them that she found involved a dude taking a whole ass apple, shoving it up inside the lady's naughty bits, and then rolling it around inside of her, and this bitch was getting off on that shit.
Hey.
Yeah. And I know everybody's done seen the one where the old man took part of his head and shoved it up in there. That's not normal.
No.
Oh, that's that's been around for a long time.
wow.
I was still in my 20s the first time I saw that video, so that was 20 years ago.
That's just nasty.
You're telling me there's a bear down here. We're gonna go say hi to Yogi.
That's not a
Yeah.
good idea.
In fact, we're gonna make Yogi sick. and just die.
No, Mr. Beard. No. Mr.
Oh yeah.
Beard.
And even Ralph, that's the best part. Didn't even get to watch him throw up. Because normally when you tag him with the dart I just tagged him with, they and then they fall to the ground and convulse like they're Michael J. Fox having a fit.
My goodness.
That was probably too much. Inappropriate chaos. What's inappropriate? What constitutes as inappropriate, really? I mean, I just shot that dude in his face with a puke dart. Oh, that was inappropriate of me. And that guy right there is fucking running off like a scared ass little bitch. You know, during a time of war, he'd be tried for treason and killed on the spot.
Come back, S.A.
Yo. Problem solved. Yeah, who's gonna come back? Nobody. No, watch a whole fucking battalion show up. It's like, oh shit, I'm about to die. Alright, let's get this video back to playing. It is a long one.
Over them, right? It's not that they're adopting Marxism or woke Christianity and becoming a heretic. It's that the established order wants to maintain its power. It's not keeping out Marxism for good reasons. It's keeping out Marxism for selfish reasons. In other words, you know, their broken logic is that corruption exists, so everything but Marxism is corrupt. That's their logic. And the iron law of woke projection, which here transforms into the iron law of woke corruption, never misses. It's the same Gnostic confusion we're seeing again and again too. They only know the real truth and see through, or sorry, only they, because they have their what am I saying? Only they, because they have the special insight, the taste of gnosis. Only they know the real truth and can see through the illusions and corruptions. Most people just go along with the illusion and corruption. As they start to be awakened, they're told that they are not. In other words, the cult is saying that everybody else is trying to keep you in a cult, as they do. So only the Gnostics, only they, as ever, can see. And of course, iron law of woke projection, yet again, never misses.
Thank you, sir.
So Freire goes on, as their new apprenticeship begins to view the dramatic situation in which they live, and which leads them to action that is less paternalistic, they come to be seen as diabolic. And we see the same thing again.
How did you burn?
Paternalistic, really. So here, and he cites as an example the character of, by name, Dom Helder Camara, the so-called Red Bishop of Recife, spiritual mentor in many regards to Paulo Freire himself, but also Pope Francis and to Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum. Schwab brought Camara to Davos for a tremendous risk to himself and the World Economic Forum.
Damn, that was a strong one.
Oh.
That's
Dude, it
the
fucking
same
hurt.
Created the Davos Manifesto. It did. Its risk existed because Camara was a communist, and in the 70s it was illegal to have a communist speak openly as such in Switzerland. So he brings them together, and the business people he has at the Davos meeting in the 74 was just his third year. They didn't want a communist speaking either.
Primo Living
So Schwab
VC
took a huge risk and
said,
says, in fact, in an interview,
I got
he
Mike Tyson
risked it
and
all. He
Jungle
coulda lost
Cake.
everything. He coulda
We'll
gotten in
see.
trouble.
Nice. I've got
He risked everything because he was
sugar
so important to bring
candy,
this new
and
in
the other
and
one
see
is
that from
called
within, teach them about the
pecan
war and about the true
pie.
nature of oppression. In other words, communism. And he was willing to risk
And
it
then
all
in
to
my
bring a communist to
cartridge,
speak at the World
I
Economic
have
Forum.
Durban poison.
Fourth year of existence. 71,
Primo.
72, 73, 74.
What, buddy?
Fourth year of existence. Paulo Freire says that Dom Helder Camara, in his footnote, is one such devil
Crystal Kid in.
accused by the outside
said,
world of being a dangerous heretic.
Those sound good.
And of course, unjustly. He's
Primo's
not a
got
real priest.
Mike
He's a dangerous
Tyson.
heretic. He's a devil. He's been infected by a demon or whatever it is. No.
Oh.
He's the one that has the true Christianity, which is exactly what any cult would do, is say that everybody else has it wrong. We're the only ones who have it right, because it's a Gnostic cult. It's kind of funny, I guess, how accurate these people were about him and how mad his critics, Kamara's critics, were about him, and how mad Freire was about it, and Schwab was also mad about that too. This is what the footnote says, in fact. It says, quote, they are denounced as serving an international demonic force that threatens Western Christian civilization. This isn't the footnote, sorry, this is in the text. They are denounced as serving an international demonic force that threatens Western Christian civilization. Yeah, communism. A civilization that in reality has very little that's Christian about it. Yeah, they are denouncing an international demonic force that threatens Western Christian civilization and Western civilization overall.
Primo Living BC
Absolutely.
said,
Thus,
I almost tried the Durban poison. It's high THC content. Just the way I like them.
And you have to destroy childhood innocence in queer theory and critical race theory, and apparently also in critical pedagogy and in liberation theology. They discover through praxis that their innocent period was not in the least impartial. Innocence is
Primo
something you
Living
construct so
BC
that people will grow up and be
said,
indoctrinated in the existing
what's up
society
outlaw
rather
brother
than
hell yet?
trying to challenge it. So it was never impartial. In fact, it was a tool of domination that they got suckered in by. So what do you have to do? Destroy childhood innocence, of course.
That hit fuck me up. God damn.
And you're afraid. They lose the courage to face the existential risk of historical commitment. Communists have all the good that comes with that. They return to their ideals and live into it now as the members of a shrewd community. Blow people's minds open. You chuck the term into a Marxist. They get cold feet. They don't go along.
Someone's got their phone in their front pocket, and they're holding the bags against your chest.
They're intentionally siding with evil power. And so what he's saying here is your reborn woke church
Outlaw Hot Mike!
They start getting accurately identified as communists and lose their nerve and back off. If they oppose the movement now, they're no longer...
No, it sounds like he's just fucking the bag. Come on, man.
They're people who could tell the truth in Marxists. They're people like Manning Johnson, who was a Communist Party member,
Trying to
and
make
black man,
orange, man.
and he started to tell the truth about how the Communist Party in the 30s and 40s and 50s in the United States used black people to advance their agenda by using kind of a pre-critical race theory race agenda, and so on. We could go on and on about different people who have spun out of the cult. And so, like any cult, there's no disagreeing with its totalizing nature. It is totalizing. You can't disagree with a single aspect of it. So if you disagree with it, it's never
Damn,
for
if
true
it helps, it
reasons
was
or
a
good
chicken
reasons.
wing bag.
It's only willful betrayal. If you know what the cult teaches and then you expose the cult, it's willful betrayal. The communists in China rounded up tons and tons and tons of Westerners when they took power and imprisoned them in these thought reform prisons on accusations of espionage,
Guess it didn't.
merely for talking about what life was like in China to other people who might have told the West. There's only willful betrayal. And the point of the thought reform prison was to teach them to be able to see how what they did counted as spying and espionage against the Chinese people and did harm to the Chinese people, even though all they were doing was going about their daily life, talking about the experience that they were having as the country went communist. There's only betrayal of the cult. Tell the truth about the cult and you betray it. And so people who have been pulled in are no longer naive, they're shrewd, and they're therefore extra evil. So Freire is saying here that apostates from the cult have no excuse, that they want to be evil, and so that's used to discredit them and for people to dissociate from them. It's like nasty guilt by association. And so these are the challenges that these apprentices might face as they try to go through their own Easter. They have to die and be reborn. Perpetually, we'll find out, over and over and over again. So someone might tell them the truth is the problem and wake them up before they're all in. And Freire gets pretty unhinged about this. He says they need to be able to justify their return. Hence, they claim that the masses who are, quote, uneducated and incapable must be protected from losing their faith in God, which is, quote, so beautiful, so sweet, and so edifying, end quote. They must be protected from the, quote, subversive evil of the false Christians who praise the Chinese Cultural Revolution and admire the Cuban Revolution, end quote. He really says that. He's mocking people who say that. They sign up for the defense of the faith when what they are really defending is their own class interests, to which that faith is subordinated. The dude's just a straight-up commie, right? And so he's setting the terms by which education and your churches are being transformed. And, you know, I went on a podcast with Al Mohler one time, and he's the first person I ever sat down and talked with, and it's so rare, even to this day, who tracked with me when I talked about Paulo Freire. It's almost like Al Mohler knows who Paulo Freire is and what he wrote. The man's kind of smart. He's sort of a genius. He's very, very well read. He's the only person who ever tracked with me. Turns out it's Paulo Freire's
Somebody's
program being implemented through
outside
the Southern
now.
Baptist Convention. How weird that he tracked with me. How weird. But anyway, they must
Fucking
Freire
shoot up.
says, then insist on the neutrality of the church.
What?
See,
He's
the church has to stay
standing
neutral, that's
in
what people say.
90-proof
Whose
Nancy's
fundamental task they say is
Spoonyeedy.
to reconcile the irreconcilable
Ooh.
through maximum
That's what it
social
sounds
stability.
like in
They don't
there.
like stability in communist land. Thus, they castrate the prophetic dimension of the church, whose witness becomes one of fear of change, fear that an unjust world will be radically transformed, fear of getting lost in an uncertain future. But a church that refuses historical involvement is nevertheless involved in history. See, either you're a Marxist involved in history, or you're involved in history anyway on the wrong side of it by resisting Marxist transformation and refusing to join the cause. You have no choice. You're always part of the process of history. The entire explanation of the universe is dialectical, and you're either on the right side of it or the wrong side of it. That's all there is. So remember, a religion, according to First Amendment jurisprudence in the United States, is a comprehensive system of belief and practice that answers fundamental questions about the world and man's role in it, like that it's universally dialectic, and man's role is to progress the dialectic by joining along with its progressive agenda, such that it gives rise to duties of conscience. In other words, that you have to be on the right side of it. You have to do the things that Freire is indicating here you have to do. It's a religion. Very clearly a religion.
Everybody's all
So the only right choice, sorry, I skipped a line on my notes.
He did all the work for me.
Freire says,
It's
in fact,
beautiful.
those who preach that the
I
church is
love
outside
it.
history contradict
I
themselves
love it.
because they automatically place themselves at the
And
side
you're
of
the
those who
last
Did you do?
one. Let's go.
practices to
Oh
be
wait, there's still one
the
more.
right choice, as Marx said.
What did you do?
Hegel is to abolish the conditions that make religion necessary in the first
Yeah,
place.
what did you do?
That's what he's
Oh,
saying.
I poisoned somebody and
Philosophical- no,
turned them against
Man,
their own
I-
teammates.
I just said that.
It's beautiful.
You did the.
Marx's critique of Hegel, the very first page of the introduction.
You used the drugs. You used the
says
whole, the
that,
pipes.
Yeah.
The abolition of religion as the illusory happiness of the people is the demand for their real happiness.
Primo
Make
Living
it
PC.
hallucinate. Make it like.
Hey Polska, are you the guy
Tell
who
him
didn't
again,
hit the
Primo.
like?
The criticism of religion is therefore
Tell him to
an
watch
embryo, the
the
criticism
stream.
of that veil of tears, of which
Probably.
religion is a halo. Criticism has plucked the
Yeah,
imaginary
Polska Bob.
flowers of the chain.
I'm gonna kill you all.
Bear that chain
Oh,
not
excuse
fantasy or
me.
consolation, but so he will
Yeah,
throw off the
somebody-
chain and pluck the
Somebody's
flower.
getting a spank.
The criticism of religion disillusions
Someone's
man
no-no
so that
square
he
is
can
gonna
get
exactly
touched.
fashion his reality like a man who has discarded his illusions and regained his senses, so that he will move around himself as his own true son.
Ooh, some more
Religion is
Mongols
an
and a
illusory sun which
feminist.
revolves around
Nope,
man
that's a
as
bear.
long as he does not revolve
Close
around
enough.
himself. It is therefore the task of history, once the other world of truth has vanished, that's religion, to establish the truth of this world.
Primo Living
Wow.
The task of
Said,
philosophy, which is in the
ha,
service
ha,
of
ha.
history, to unmask self-estrangement in its unholy forms. Once the holy form of human self-estrangement has been
Ow!
so you have to get rid of the religious self-estrangement, so that you can realize that you're being humans are being estranged from themselves by the secular or mundane conditions. Thus, the criticism of heaven turns into the criticism of earth.
Oh,
the criticism of
shit,
religion
you
into the
ain't
criticism of
dead.
law, and the criticism of theology into the criticism of politics. We've covered Marx on this point before.
You is now.
That's the only thing you can do. Marx said you have to abolish the conditions that make religion necessary in the first place. That's Freire's objective. So, afraid of this uncertainty, Freire tells us, and anxious to avoid the risk of a future that must always be constructed and not just received, the church badly loses its way. It can no longer test itself, either through the denunciation of the unjust world or the annunciation of a more just world to be built by the historical social praxis of the oppressed. In this situation, the church can be no more utopian, prophetic, or filled with hope than are the ruling classes to which it is allied. Deprived of its prophetic vision, it takes the road of formalism and bureaucratic rites where hope detached from the future, becomes only an alienated and alienating abstraction. Given that he was raised Catholic, we could make some jokes here. Instead of stimulating the pilgrim, it invites him to stand still. Basically, it is a church that forbids itself the Easter it preaches. It is a church that is freezing to death, unable to respond to the aspirations of a troubled utopian and biophile, life-loving youth, to whom one can no longer speak a medieval language.
I don't know if I linked this channel or not.
In discussing the sex of
Oh,
angels.
wait.
These youth are challenged by the drama of their own history. Most of these young people are well aware that the basic problem in Latin America is not the laziness of the people or their inferiority or their lack of education. The problem is imperialism. And they know that
I'm
this
linking the
imperialism
channel I'm
is
listening to if
abstraction
anybody
and
wants to listen to any of the other stuff there.
and invading, destroying presence until this basic contradiction.
He
is
puts out a lot of
overcome.
really, like I said, I'm more into intellectually stimulating shit.
Without liberation,
So, I tend to lean more
Now,
towards
Klaus Schwab says that
this kind of
basically the same
stuff.
thing in the Great Narrative for a better future, as he calls the second book of the Great Reset.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have that. I definitely don't have that.
Can I
book.
get up
can just
there?
jump on
Come
it.
out.
But he says that that's what's going to have to happen.
Oh, I'm gonna have to
Like,
swing in there.
they demand a completely new world. They don't care about all this old stuff and the old values. They see climate change. They see a world of danger. They see a world that's financially screwing them over. And they don't think that they're going to have a future in. And so they have a completely different view, and that they're going to want. They absolutely need to have a new social contract as a result.
Yeah.
Klaus Schwab's view of it. So let me see if I can find that real quickly, because he says social contract.
He ain't
is
wrong.
He does say that the manifestations of inequality are so
If you're listening to the video that if you can I don't know if anybody else can hear what I'm listening to completely. Like I've got it just loud enough to where I hear y'all. I can't hear any of the game sounds at all.
About inequality and the profound sentiment of dissatisfaction.
K is for you 728.
Wow. She's just now saying that shit.
https://www.youtube.com/@newdiscourses.
Expectations govern the relations between individuals and institutions, but simply it is the glue that binds us, our societies, together. Without it, the social fabric unravels. The growing general recognition is that the social contract in many countries around the world is broken, that its multiple elements from cradle to grave
Polska Bob
need change.
said, Bacon, I'm not
and
sure
he
how
says
I
this
feel
about the young
about
people in
ranch-flavored
particular,
popcorn I'm
that
eating.
the young people
It's
are
not
trying
bad
to-
actually.
The young people
Just can't eat a lot of it.
need to be pushing this, that they absolutely need it. The policy solutions, there are policy solutions that do exist.
I mean, Polska's
and broadly
not bad.
consistent with adapting the welfare state
Flavor's
to
not
the
bad.
world by empowering people and responding to the demands for a fairer social contract. It says over the past year, several international organizations and think tanks have
Real
adjusted
men
to
put
this new
nacho
reality and
cheese
outlined
on their
proposals on how to make it happen. But the pandemic has marked a turning point. And then he says, what form will this take? And he kind of rambles for a moment, but then he ends up saying that
Polska Bob said,
here it is.
I can hear it just fine chaos, but my hearing is better than the average person.
While reflecting on the contours where we think a future social contract might follow, we ignored or peril the opinion of
Lady Sancho's fan.
Their adherence is decisive and thus no better. Thus, to better understand what they want, we must not forget to listen.
Oh, boy.
Culture of silence, as it were.
Mein Führer.
This is
Welcome back.
significant because the younger generation
He
is
has
likely to
graced
be
us with
more
his
radical in
presence.
its demands and the
He's
refashioning of our social contract.
done
refashioning of our social contract.
sucking
The pandemic has upended their lives.
on
and
the
whole
corners
generation
for
across the
crack.
world will be defined
I
by
don't know.
economic
I had
security
something and it
climate
started
anxiety.
eluding me as
They
soon
will
as the
bear
word
these
sucking
scars
came out.
forever. Already the millennials, at least in the Western world,
Okay,
are
it's
worse
just
off
your
than
brain
their parents
geeking out.
in terms of earnings, assets, and wealth. They're less
Yeah, it
likely
means I need to
Get
smoke
free.
some. No, it needs I mean to. It
Now, another
means I need to
generation,
smoke
Gen
some
Z,
more, because
will
my
be
mind
system
isn't fully
that
functioning
exists
just
daily
yet.
and that will be beset by long-standing
It's
problems
exactly
Gamers against weed.
exacerbated by the
Gamers
pandemic.
against alcohol.
Alex Jr. put it, quote, young people have a deep desire
Them
for
too.
radical change because we see the broken
Yeah, no, I
path
just went and
ahead.
priced out some new
End
equipment
quote.
at
So how will this
fucking
generation respond?
local
By proposing
drywall
radical
supply
solutions
place,
and often
and
radical action to prevent
holy
issues like social
fuck.
inequalities from worsening,
Mm.
or the next disaster like climate change from
fuck
striking.
me, dude.
The young generation see both as two facets of the
So
same coin.
fucking
The
expensive.
younger
She's like,
generation
oh yeah,
inequality.
prices just went up. I was
They will
like, no
most likely
fucking
demand a
shit, your
radical
prices
alternative
went
to
up.
the present course because its members are
Holy
frustrated from
fuck,
the
man.
by a nagging
Ooh.
belief that the current
I
system
might
has
have
failed
to
them
start
and it is
selling my
fractured
ass
beyond
on the
repair.
corner.
As a result, youth activism is increasing worldwide, being
Gotta
revolutionized
keep
by
a regular
social
job
media
and sell
that
your
fosters
ass.
mobilization to an extent that
No,
would have
Indy,
been
don't even
impossible
think about
before.
it.
Takes many different forms, ranging
You're
from
not pimping me
non-institutionalized
out.
political participation to demonstrations and protests,
I'm not
Fuck, we
putting the
aren't.
tights on.
inequalities in a
I'm not putting the
multifaceted
tights
manner.
on.
Seeing issues as
The
diverse
fuck
as
you
income
aren't.
inequalities, climate change, economic reforms, gender equality, and
I
LGBTQ
need
rights
new
as part
tools,
of a more
homie.
general
Oh,
inequality problem, the young generation is firmly
Indy, I know what
at
you're
the
thinking.
vanguard of social change.
Don't let them.
There's
Don't
little
let them
doubt
put them
that it
on me.
would be the catalyst for change.
Polska Bob
Same thing that Freire
said,
is saying. I wonder where they got
Chaos,
this
What are
I'm
you
idea.
talking
catching a
about? It was his
contact buzz
idea.
off you. I've got the word
Same
cotton
thing.
mouth.
So at this
Is
point,
this true, Indy?
Freire
I don't-
claims
I don't know how that
Marxist
really
liberation
works,
theology
but
by name.
okay,
Next section,
Polska.
back to
The goddamn
theology
bacon,
of liberation. The
said,
rest of the chapter discusses
at
this in terms
Polska
of
Bob
spelling it out,
Sunflowers,
and then
is that you?
dictating Freire's view of the
How
role
did
of
you
the
hack
church,
Polska's phone?
in which he identifies
Jesus,
three types of churches, which
I
are
don't know. Maybe I
reactionary
can't
or
see straight
traditional,
no more. I just
modernizing,
fucking
and prophetic. Actually, it's not
dumbfounded
quite
here.
true. It's
I mean, you could identify as
both
blind.
the traditional and the modernizing churches. The traditional church, the
Actually, you
modernizing
could
church,
be
and the prophetic
blind
church.
but still
And we've kind of
sing.
discussed what that means a little bit. Obviously, he's against
So it
Still
really
singing
makes
these
no
videos.
sense.
the reactionary church, and he defines
Polska
Yeah,
Bob
you
is
identify as
sunflowers.
blind but
so
still
theology
sing.
or upholds the existing system, shrewdly or naively or outright.
It's a play on
The
semantics
modernizing
and
church
words like they like to
accuses
do all the
himself of
time.
being a huge fraud, pretending to be
True.
liberal or in fact
Polska Bob
prophetic,
is
while
sunflowers.
actually
What?
resisting the progress in the
Whoa,
same way.
Polska and sunflowers are hooking up?
Constructed around
You
social
go,
ideas,
boy.
crude versus naive things. There's sort of two
Bacon
modernizing
says
churches,
that
one
that's
and the naive
sunflowers.
one. The prophetic church is, of course, the one that makes the prophecy.
Time
of
for
the
fighting,
utopia
time for
that
bets.
is
I
its
thought-
liberation mark.
I thought Riggs
that
was
true?
the land whale.
Driving in
Or,
particular
oops, that was
countries with
mean.
Freudian history, so we can understand what we're talking about.
I thought-
Before the 1960s, beyond saying that he was Catholic.
Swear.
Polska Bob, are you pretending to be sunflower?
Had met with and been
What's going on
tutored
here?
to some extent by the famous Fred
Probably just lost a sub.
Polska Bob said, I'm dead serious chaos. I'm totally thirsty.
You guys
Stopping
are
for a
all
big gulp.
He is thirsty for a girl named Big Gulp.
First to say that.
That's what he just
need
said.
butter.
He's thirsty for a girl named Big Gulp.
You mean
so-called imperial.
you mean like butter down.
Freire was certainly
Dude, am I
influenced
going
in
the wrong
liberation
fucking
theology
way again?
by Kamara,
Totally am.
whom he defended
Nice.
as we just heard.
How can you lead a country when you don't even know what way you're going?
1964, though,
Well, dude, I used to live here and I can't fucking remember shit. Like, I can remember parts of it. You know what I mean?
They saw it as
Yeah.
bad and destabilizing,
Like, just
probably
flip
communist.
it. But, you know, and I think I got a fully laid out map, you know, in my head, but it's not. I got, like, intersections wrong and shit.
And the Bolivian government wasn't going to have it either. In fact, 20 days
Sorry
after
for the
Bolivia,
ear
they
raid,
also had
guys.
their government overturned, and they had a new government come into play that was going to have none of this, and he kicked him out of Bolivia
So, yeah.
too, so he ends up in Chile
Yeah.
in 1964. And there he hooked up with the Network of Liberation theologian priests.
I think Friday I'm gonna run up to Duncan and fucking see if I can pillage the fucking pawn
So
shop
what
and
you
stuff
already
there
have
for
is some
equipment.
colonialism, liberation
Because
theology,
holy
Primo
fuck, I'm
Living
not
BC.
buying new down here.
then you add
Said,
the insult of being
What's up, Mitchell
kicked out of your
brother?
position by an overthrow of the government.
Primo says, "What's up?"
Or maybe worse.
What's up, brother Primo?
Latin American politics have never been quite stable. So you have this kind of background where he's post-colonial, he's liberation theology, he's leftist, he's Catholic, he's now been injured
I haven't been to a
psychologically,
pawn
emotionally,
shop and I couldn't
exiled
tell you
from his
how
country,
long.
great injury,
Yeah, it's been
very
a long
aggrieved.
time for me.
And this all cobbles in a lot of Marxism.
They're kinda handy.
Liberation theology back line of thought that he already established.
Sometimes they used to be more handy.
1967,
They're a little less handy now.
education as a practice of
Fucking
freedom.
they ain't got nothing I need.
Wrote
If I didn't
Pedagogy
need it,
Press
it'd be
in
fucking
Portuguese,
full.
but he didn't publish it.
Shop would be
These
full of
two
equipment.
books encapsulated the synthesis of his ideas,
They'd be fucking
especially
giving it
Marxist
away.
ideas, and especially pedagogy of the oppressed. They put him back on the radar internationally with
Holy
the help
fuck.
of leftist priests or Marxist priests.
I guess I'm just gonna have to learn how to do
Eventually,
fucking
with
some
increase in America,
serious
particularly
fucking
Harvard. So
stretching
in
on that
1968, Freire was invited to do a 2-year lecture
equipment that I
appointment
got.
at Harvard. He accepted partly because he was also offered to go to Geneva and be on the World Council of Churches.
What
He went to
was
Harvard for 6 months.
$300 mud pump is now a $500 mud
Geneva,
pump.
at the end of
So I
the
won't be getting one of
1969,
those.
Freire left Cambridge,
Dude, an
Massachusetts
extendable
for
box
Geneva,
handle,
Switzerland,
okay, which
to
is
sit
like,
on the World Council of
you know,
Churches and do
the
research
I think
for
it's
them.
3 feet
What's the World Council
to
of Churches? The World Council of Churches
5.5
has been
or
since
6,
1948 dedicated to
right?
a so-called liberal
Which were
ecumenicism.
probably
That
the
is
more
the
pricier
left-wing
handles you could buy
interfaith
for this
project.
fucking equipment.
It was also
But
suspected
like,
that during the Cold War, it was
you know,
infiltrated by
180
communist
bucks,
KGB
200
officers.
bucks.
In fact, if you read the Wikipedia
They're now
entries, it explicitly that
450
happened.
bucks.
That were posing as Russian and Eastern Orthodox priests.
I was like,
To
my
the point where they
God.
actually swayed its policy.
Oh my
And
God.
Freire held that
You
appointment
know what I
in
mean?
Geneva
It's like,
at the
God.
Council of Churches, which had been infiltrated by communists
Fuck.
for years, from 1970 or
Don't
when he
feel too bad.
arrived
My
until
wallet got
1980.
beat
And
up
he
like
lived
crap
in
in
Geneva
Walmart
for
a while
most of
ago.
the years that he was in exile from Brazil, though he dipped in and out of the United States during that
Fuckers
time. He
bleeding me
also,
dry,
however,
man.
worked with Kamara there, and that's where they did most of their substantive
Well,
time work together.
I'm
And
gonna have to
probably
find
this
some,
chapter
like,
was born out of that
super drugs.
relationship. So this is
Something.
an important little point. Of course, in
Something
the
a little
70s,
more
he had
better
to
than
the US
cocaine.
assassination of Henry Drew, which changed
Feed
the
me
course
through
of
this
history in a very
motherfucker.
bad way. In fact, maybe the worst way. So,
Polska Bob
What's a good
some of
drug
you
that
all that are
keeps
said,
you
listening to
up
this,
for 3 or
especially
4
the
days?
pastors out
maybe
there, will
it's the
probably know a
20
lot more
years
about
I
the World
spent
Council of
smoking
Churches
weed.
than I do.
The sound of you hacking
Meth.
along brings back cotton
Meth.
mouth feeling.
While he was there, of course, a
Crank.
considerable note
Meth.
he
Same
worked with
thing.
Kamara.
I didn't want to do meth.
Kamara was brought to Switzerland in 1974 as an honored guest and speaker for what was
What else
called
you
at the
got?
time the European Management
Well,
Forum,
you're gonna.
which became the World Economic Forum a few years later, and his founder Klaus
Fuck,
Schwab
might
was
have.
by him,
I might
brought
have.
to him specifically.
I'll just do a little meth.
Freire and Kamara collaborated some in Geneva while they were both in Switzerland together.
A little
Take
meth.
Many of the essays in this book, which
Take that meth like a man,
were
boy.
actually written while
Yeah, I'll
Freire was
do a
in
little
Geneva,
meth
famous
and then a
conditions, and the religious
fucking
imprint
bunch of
that-
pre-workout, and
that
I'll just go fucking
Kamara
savage.
had, that left on Freire cannot be doubted, given
Woo!
that in this book of education, there's an
Fly
entire
in the eye.
set of chapters just about religion.
Yes, sir.
Fuck yeah, this
So
job will
what
be
does
done
this liberation
tomorrow.
theology tucked away in a book on education look like? That's the point of the next section.
Oh.
And its commitment.
Hey,
That's
they
what
did.
it looks like.
Nobody said I
Liberation
had I
theology
couldn't
looks like
use
commitment
fucking,
to
you know,
Marxism.
performance enhancers on the job,
Which raises questions about the real goals
right?
of the people involved.
True.
And as I said, through the inversion of understanding, it raises a lot of very hard questions that we should all be asking right now about leaders and organizations.
I mean, I've
like
heard
the Southern
stock
Baptist
traders
Convention,
love their
Presbyterian
cocaine.
Church of America, and so on, who take
Oh,
up the
God, yeah.
program.
What do you think makes the
Reforming
world go around?
Paulo and doing what he did in that,
Yeah.
of course, is one that we've
Keeps
already
them trading.
hard.
Yeah.
So what is
And gambling the people, and
and
gambling taxpayers' money.
who are today becoming more and more
I've never
historically
seen so
involved
much
with the
work
progressive
completed in
rightly
3
speak
days.
the political theology of liberation rather than one of the modernizing
Well,
theology.
that's what I'm
These
fucking
theologians
going
can
for.
begin to speak to the troubling questions of a generation that chooses revolutionary
Might have to go to
rather
Walmart
than
and
the
get me some of that free
reconciliation
workout at least.
irreconcilables. For example,
Maybe skip
the
the
idea that
maybe
there's this
skip the
terrible
meth.
part of life and that God is supposed to make it better.
They're
Something
gonna
like
rape your
that,
wallet
the
in Walmart.
Reconciliation of irreconcilables.
I mean, you should be expecting that nowadays.
Who understand the Marxist study of
Mhm.
history
Dude.
are realizing
Here they rape you at
to
McDonald's.
speak to and answer the so-called
Yeah.
troubling questions of a quote
A
generational
Polska
$5
Bob.
revolutionary change.
No,
That shit
like
got
one of those-
expensive as
Oh
fuck
fuck you,
too.
Doug. Polska 0
A
Doug 2.
$5 fucking meal, you know, like the McDouble meal or the Junior McChicken meal. Pretty sure you guys have that in States too. That's a $5 meal. Here it's $8.
Not just by liberation theologians, but also outright caging.
What's
up,
Subversion.
What's up, brother?
Freire says they know very well
What's up, Easy? How you
only
doing?
the oppressed
Good
as the
news.
social class
What's
that
up?
is
Easy.
can be
Easy.
the utopians, the
I
prophets,
got my hardware
messengers
taken
of
out on
hope.
Friday.
Nice.
Nice.
Fucking A.
I don't know. I kind of like you this way.
Just,
Mm.
just can't
That's-
eat anything.
Oh, been on that liquid diet.
Yeah. But
That's
How you
great
guys
news.
doing?
I'm doing well, sir.
Getting priced out of my industry.
That's
sucks.
great, brother.
Thanks, Outlaw. Thanks, Indy. Thanks, Hemi.
Hey,
And you too, Harry.
just keep up the oral hygiene, brother. Don't let it
Yeah.
slip.
Ooh.
Yes, no, I do like oral, so I'll keep it up. Wait, no, that came out wrong. Sorry, that came out wrong.
No, I think that came
No,
out
it
first.
came out just right.
You really came out just right.
Somebody clip that.
Get some of that. You just got some of that premium content, y'all.
Ah.
Hey, EV, when you're on the drugs, you can say anything. Just blame it on the drugs.
Yep,
Yeah.
just blame it on the drugs.
Polska
That's how
Bob
you do
Blame it on
it.
the
said,
drugs.
Do not
"Oh,
forget to
double
put it
fuck you, Doug.
on
There's an
OnlyFans
engine in the middle of the
paywall.
train."
Oh, damn.
It's
Pulse's,
premium content.
Polska's apparently getting a
Premium?
hell of a train run on him right now.
Hey,
This is, we need to start paying you people. Let me get that right. You need to start paying us people for this premium content.
No fucking way.
That was
5%. That's it.
That was a moment that should have cost you guys in the chat.
See, there's 6 people in here. I'm fair. I'll do $5 a head.
Yeah.
Polska
You don't
Bob
get this anywhere else.
said,
That's
"Doug
true.
3 Polska 0."
Oh,
Anyway,
excuse me.
so, Mitchell, I'll be playing Primo again later if you want to watch.
Oh, fuck yeah, I'll watch.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
I'll be at work, so you know where I'll be.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Good. Anyway, guys, I'll be back on later on.
All right,
Thanks
brother.
for the update, brother.
Yeah,
Ah,
thanks
no,
for
no
the
problem.
Thank you, thank you.
You take
I
it easy,
appreciate
brother.
it.
Man.
I appreciate you letting me
The
vent,
goddamn
so,
bacon.
Thanks.
Ah, not
Said,
a problem, man.
"This is why you don't talk
care,
with
guys.
your
That's
mouth
why
full.
he gave me the
Me,
circle.
I like
Wait.
oral. That
See,
came
easy.
out wrong. What she
Take
said
care, buddy.
XD."
That's great, man.
Oh, man.
That's still going. That's still going on my OnlyFans.
That made today a lot better.
Hardware sucks.
I can imagine.
Yeah. No,
Polska Bob
Where'd you go
said,
to when they processed
"Easy
for
having
you,
his
Chris?
wired shut made him lose his New York
Down
accent."
a place called Foundation Building Center.
Yeah.
It used to be called Windrock. Like those were our go-to guys for all of our drywall stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy fuck, she's telling me prices on the things that I need to get, and it's like, wow, wow.
Because I was gonna say, if it was like somewhere like Sharon Week, yeah, I ain't been 2 or 3
Yeah.
years.
Sherman Williams don't got this stuff.
Y'all don't have a Home Depot?
No.
Or a Lowe's? Or a
Well, they got
Sutherland's?
Lowe's, but they don't have this stuff at Lowe's. Actually, one of the people I think sells some Columbia stuff. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. Like if that's the fucking prices of their units, it ain't gonna be any cheaper at fucking Home Depot.
Yeah, that would be like a wholesale place.
Yeah, like these guys specialize in this equipment, and that's like all they sell. So
Mm-hmm.
Provided that their future is not simply a reformed
Jesus
repetition of the
Christ
present.
almighty.
Their future is the realization
yeah,
of
I might be
liberation
going to my
which
guys
they
in
will be.
Ontario again.
Only they can denounce the order that crushes them, transforming that order.
Just remember,
into
you gotta
praxis.
crank that
Only
shaft
they can announce
and
a
work
new
that
world, one
pinky
that is constantly
if you
being
really want them good
recreated
jobs.
and renewed. Which catches
Well,
me.
fuck, no, I
They
need
know very
I need
well
the
that
equipment.
only the oppressed as a
CSR out of
social class
Ontario,
has
they
been
usually
forbidden
had
to
the
speak
best prices.
and become the utopians
Mm.
of
And they
Westerners
always
of
had
hope.
all the equipment, right? So there was
Only
nothing you couldn't
the
drop on
oppressed
them that they didn't
have a
have.
voice
Like,
that
oh, I
can
need
transform
this.
the world.
Yeah, we got that.
Only them.
It's
And
always
the
their
oppressed are
answer.
defined as that social class which has been forbidden to speak on any need to
But you know, you had to wait for it to ship, right?
Your
Which usually they're
truth
pretty quick
has
on.
been suppressed. You have your own truth. You have to
I think I told you
have
guys
your
about
own
the
knowledges
bazooka that I was
that you
gonna
obtain
buy.
through
It
your
was a
own
level
ways of knowing.
5
You have to
bazooka,
be able
and the
to
day I had
discern
the
them.
money, they
And by
doubled the
discerning
price.
them from a position of consciousness,
Ooh,
you will
why do you
denounce
need a
the existing
bazooka?
world and all of its
Why
beings,
Well,
not?
and announce the arrival of a
Take
You
me
new
can
to
blow
it.
stuff up.
This is a fundamental
I make those.
Gnosticism by
Make those.
oppression.
That's my goal.
And what Freire is saying is that it has
But
to
yeah,
reach
no,
the so-called authentic
taping
faith.
bazooka. It was 800 bucks
Historically
total
speaking,
or
as
something.
Giroux
I was like,
explained in
fucking
the
right on. I
introduction,
finally got the extra money
read it
after a
from
month
earlier,
of looking
at
at
the
this
time
thing.
these essays
Go
were
to
being
go
written,
make the
or
purchase, and it's
was one of
$1,400 all of a
desperation for
sudden. I was
Marxist
like,
movements,
what
not
the
for
fuck just
another
happened
part
here?
of it. The Marxist movements were desperate.
I thought
They're up
maybe I
against
got on the
despair,
wrong
they were seeking
website.
hope and found it. And Freire says, Giroux, they're up against what's called the problem of
Nope.
reproduction. That society and all of its forms and all of the things it does, but particularly its
Pol's
educational
Kebab
forms,
said,
reproduces itself.
honestly, I was expecting the ranch popcorn to be more flavorful. It's kind of bland.
Possibly the
That's alright, I got a North Star now, so it's all good.
So especially educational faith.
False kebab, trust me. Try the nacho cheese popcorn.
Cultural repetition and reproduction.
Good.
This is a major impediment to revolution, so the neo-Marxists
Nacho
were
cheese.
frustrated. As an inspiration,
You'll thank me
not
later.
bear out, but it did indicate that those things would have to be changed. Fundamentally,
They also
the
have
coming out
maple
from within.
bacon flavor.
And it's in this context that Freire is indicating that that theology
Not as
itself
good as
has
it
to be
sounds,
retooled
boy.
alongside education. That's really the point of this chapter.
It's too sweet.
He says,
How did they fuck up maple
not
bacon?
an invitation to halt the pilgrimage.
They added,
Invitation
like,
offered
the
not
maple
only
part,
by
there's
the
too much
traditionalists, but
sweetness.
also
You
by
can't really
appealing
taste much of the
modernists.
bacon.
The hope lies in the
Wow.
Seasoning.
forward march,
So it's right, too sweet.
not in the senseless wandering of those who give up and run, but the forward march of those who hold history in their hands, who create it and
sucks.
recreate it themselves. Sorry, who create it and recreate themselves in it. It is the forward march they will eventually have to embark upon if they are to experience death as an oppressed class and be born again to
Well,
liberation.
I need to get
They
this
must
job
stress
finished by
yet again
Friday.
that this journey
So,
cannot be made within their
French
consciousness. It must be made history. No one
See,
can make
here
such
it
a
is
journey
right here,
simply
Chris.
in the inside of his being.
You see
In
that?
other words, you have to be
dude,
an
I'm
activist.
driving. I'll
Only
fucking
progress
crash
will
if I
be
look.
forward
What the fuck is
march.
that? What
History
is that?
must be made. It's
That's
not
the
enough to
maple
change
bacon
yourself.
popcorn
You can only
seasoning.
begin there. You have to change the world. The oppressed
Wow.
class itself has to change the world
It's not as good as
and
it
then
looks,
die
though.
and be
But
born in
try this.
liberation. Just like you read in George Lukács that the last battle, the last thing to be overcome, he says, in fact, will be class consciousness itself.
I'm telling you, our Walmart got crackhead
So this
stuff, man.
is an appeal to the struggle documented in Lukács' 1923 History and Class
Yeah.
Consciousness, chapter 3, as a matter of fact, where he talks about class
We got
consciousness.
Twix
There
seasoning,
he's
dude,
wrestling
and
out
Snickers seasoning,
an apparent contradiction that was left
cinnamon
over
toast
Marx.
crunch seasoning.
Marx indicates throughout his writing that awakening to class
In the
consciousness
spy
is
salt.
necessary for the proletariat to organize, to seize the
That
means
all
of production,
sounds
and then
awful.
to direct the course of history. That's
It
your
is.
forward march. So that the people can be, that's the
I
point.
do not recommend.
In the end, though, Marx indicates that the proletariat must transcend
But a
private
lot of the
property
people here
altogether.
who like
And
barbecue
in fact,
and
class identity, remember,
like using a
communism
lot of those
is a
like
stateless
seasoning
class
rubs
of
and stuff, they
society.
use it.
So it must identify as a class and then transcend class. That's a contradiction. Lukács is struggling with this in this book, in this chapter, and encapsulates the issue by pointing out that the proletariat has to adopt consciousness as a class to change history. So as a class being key, and it's as a strategy.
Haters.
Freire is the oppressed class, the people who are forbidden to speak. But you only do that so that you can change the world and then give it up. So the fundamental contradiction for Lukács
Tell
is
me,
that
tater
in
salad.
adopting a class consciousness, they fail to transcend class consciousness, and thus reproduce class society in new form when they take over power. And so Lukács concludes that the great challenge is that the proletariat's final boss battle, if you will, is against itself. It's not against the bourgeois, it's against itself. They defeat the bourgeoisie, and then they must defeat themselves. This is going to get turned super wacky Christian under Freire with his Easter, death, and rebirth thing. So Freire wrestles with this theme too then, many times throughout this book.
fuck.
It's the basis for the whole Easter thing, it's the basis for
Only
the
after 3
perpetual
dates.
revolution, where critical consciousness begins revolution and immediately demands
Pol's
more
Kebab
consciousness and another revolution.
said,
denounce
The
whatever it
helium
is,
joint
when you
is
have
right
something
by
to
my
denounce
brother-in-law's
whatever
grave.
it is
I
in
can
that.
go find
Here's how
him.
Lukács puts it in terms of defeating the
Motherfucker, you're
working class or
taking me
the
out to
proletariat
dinner.
must defeat itself. He says,
There
this
you
is
go.
James Lukács.
Go
In
pay
History
your
of Class Consciousness.
respects.
Thus, we must never overlook the distance that separates the consciousness of even the most revolutionary worker from the authentic class
Man,
consciousness
it's
of the
fucking
proletariat.
rude, you
But
know?
even this situation can be explained on the basis of the Marxist
Rude.
theory of class struggle and class consciousness. This entire sentence
Gotta,
is in italics.
gotta get me
The
some
proletariat
drinks.
only perfects itself by annihilating
Some
and transcending
drinks.
itself, by creating the classless society
Get some
You're gonna
successful
lose
conclusion
this
of its
fella.
own class struggle.
You
Now,
gotta
since we're doing
take
our kind of a church-related or Christian-related episode, let me just take out the word proletariat and say, put in Jesus or Messiah. The Messiah only perfects itself by annihilating and transcending itself. Or maybe God. God only perfects itself by annihilating and transcending itself. The struggle, Lukács says, for the society in which the dictatorship of the proletariat is merely a phase is not just a battle waged against an external enemy, the bourgeoisie. It is the struggle of the proletariat, in italics, against itself, against the devastating and degrading effects of the capitalist system upon its class consciousness. The proletariat will only have won the real victory when it has overcome these effects within itself. Remember that the creation of the capitalist system, the creation of exploitation, the creation of specifically the division of labor is in the Marxist theology the fall of man. The proletariat has the job of stepping into that fall of man consciously and sacrificing itself so that we can be made free from it. And that will be
And I'm back.
the real victory.
Welcome
This is
back.
just an inversion of Christianity. This is a
Got a little
revolution.
scared.
But this is also
Got a
the
little
essential
scared,
battle
don't know what
that Freire
happened
is
to you.
hoping to overcome with his constant education for conscientization and his theology of liberation that he's describing in his book.
Maybe I
which is
should
completely
start a flower planting
Freire is
company
like
and
to
then
point
learn how
out,
to
in
plant
fact, that
flowers.
thinking about this issue in terms of secular or
Guy looks
Christian
happy.
is actually the wrong way to think about it. Later, he's going to say it doesn't matter
Consumable
if you're Protestant or
plants.
Catholic, and that's why they're winning. They have
He's planting
teaming
just
up
like
for
little
revolution,
flowers.
and you have squabbling over theology. For him, there's only one variable, which is being on the side of the oppressed.
Holy
That
fuck,
is,
the
you're either
Asians
neo-communist
own this
or
place
you're not.
now?
And that's what
Jesus.
actually commits you to a theology of liberation. There is no other detail.
Chinese own
Doesn't matter if it's
everything
Catholic,
here.
doesn't matter if it's Protestant, doesn't matter if it's math or history or reading in a secular school.
Pretty much.
He says, but there are a growing number of people who, whether or not they still claim to be Christians, commit themselves to the liberation of the dominated classes, see whether or not they claim to be Christians. Their experience teaches them that being Christian doesn't necessarily imply being reactionary.
Fun
Just as
young
being
man.
revolutionary doesn't always imply
Welcome
being
to my
demonic.
channel.
Interesting
Fun
wording.
young man.
Being revolutionary
Said,
implies struggling against
Is that
oppression
Tupac
and
in Ghost of
exploitation for the
Tsushima?
liberation and freedom of the
Hey,
oppressed
what's
and
up,
freedom,
fun
not
young man?
idealistically. And the
No,
apprenticeship
this
would
is
finally
just
realize that it is
a
not sufficient
mask.
to give lip service to the idea that men and women are human beings if nothing is done objectively to help them
Polska
experience what
Bob
it means to be person.
said,
nice.
No headstone yet, but
So
I
after
found
discussing
him.
how difficult
My
it would be
flowers
for
are still
people to
there.
commit to this path because so many would be against them because of Christian communists.
You betcha.
Freire reiterates the need for commitment. And what happens here starts getting pretty intense. He says, I cannot permit myself to be a mere spectator. On the contrary, I must demand my place in the process of change. So the dramatic tension between past and
Yes, please.
future, death and life, being and non-being,
Thank you very
is
much.
no longer a
You
dead
too.
end for me. I can see it for what it really is, a permanent challenge to which I must
Alrighty.
respond. And my response can be none other than
Yo,
my historical
grime wheel.
praxis, in other words, revolutionary praxis. The revolution does not do away with the dramatic tension of our existence, it resolves the antagonistic contradictions that make that tension even more dramatic. But precisely because it participates in that tension,
So your
as it is
game
as
plan for
permanent
tonight is it just
as
chess night or what?
revolution itself.
I could do
The
some
first step
chess
to commit yourself to being
tonight.
a revolutionary. And this is the ultimate existential and spiritual battle that cannot be set aside or ignored. In fact, people must demand their place on the side of change, which is they must demand that they get to be
Come on.
Marxists and do activism for Marxism. There's your duties of conscience.
Oh,
And
take cover behind the
revolution is actually
rock.
the permanent state of being in the world because the world isn't static.
Ugh.
Because Hegel's God is a God that becomes, not a God
My
that
day
is.
hasn't
The
even
world
started,
isn't
I'm already
static.
done.
Hegel's theology, which Marx appropriated, it is a dynamic dialectical
I
unfolding.
could kill them both. Gosh
Well,
darn it.
which unfolding of the idea
Uh-oh.
through the activity
I didn't mean to do that.
causes God
Yeah, you did.
to become
No,
what
I
God
didn't.
is, the absolute
I just wasted
becomes
my
through the process of the dialectic of
ghost
creation.
shit.
A reign of undisturbed peace is unthinkable in history, Freire tells us, because then the dialectic's not moving. History, he says, is becoming. It is a human
So,
thing.
did you make it down for your
Humans
doctor's
move
appointment
the
today?
dialectic. But rather than feeling disappointed and frightened by critical discovery of the tension in which my humanity places
And
me,
these jokes
I
today.
discover in
Who?
the tension the joy.
Did you make it for your doctor's appointment
Freire is
today?
saying that joy and hope
No,
are
it wasn't a
communicating
doctor's
these
appointment.
contradictions and forms of oppression.
It was an
In this case,
appointment
it's a
with
coming
my
to an end,
attorney to
and
have my
it's not
daughter
the hope of
removed
going
from my
to heaven
will
that you're making
and then
hope.
state
Oh.
my son as an
You're
executive.
taking joy in the transition
I mean,
world
you can
where
leave
it's
it
like
to
you never
me.
become a woman if you're trans.
Well, I was
Really
gonna
stick it
say,
to your kids, you know?
Doing whatever
Teach
it
them a
is
real
that the
lesson.
transition process does to
Well,
you.
I still got one that,
One good one?
Trans phenomenon,
yeah, he's
Okay.
very respectful and everything like that. So,
become one, becoming one.
Yeah, but I'm
But
your
here,
future
history
son-in-law.
never finishes, it's becoming. History's becoming, and you should have a
And
yeah,
I'm
but I
taking
got
part.
in the
I gotta have something, you know, Lee's eyes. You know, you gotta.
And being reborn, just like the oppressed. Just
Well,
like
fuck, I
you.
was
Po-
gonna
You
take
can be a
on
part of
bad
it.
daughter.
You
Straighten
can be
her
the
ass out.
transformer of history, a conscious agent.
Potential
You can
doesn't
be
stand
part
up
of
in
the
court.
solution. But don't
Ah.
focus on yourself too much.
I
Because
see. They want
the way
something
you become is
fucking
through moving
foundational.
Yeah.
I becomes through the we.
Well,
If
fine.
you recall.
If you don't have paperwork regarding that it was a payment,
The I is fulfilled.
then
in
it's
the we,
considered a gift.
Something like that. Let's see if I can find that very quickly for you so I can read it because these things fall
What time
apart.
is it?
so much.
2:56.
The process of knowing, he says, and since it is always a process, knowing presumes a dialectical situation.
and the argument is, why would I give my ex-wife that much money? But,
Would you give her a fucking ending?
well, it was when she had custody, and I, you know, I split the tax return with her, but I didn't have it as payment of child support. She claimed it was a gift, and I'm like, why in the hell would I give her that much money as a gift? Come on, she's my ex. But
Yeah,
without
they don't.
documentation, yeah, without documentation, it's a gift.
Not make my existence in itself isolated from other existences, a model of absolute meaning. On the contrary, if
They
it
put
is
that
an
little clause
intersubject,
in there
it is
just
in
because, you
the
know, they wanted to
intersubjectivity.
double fucking charge people.
You're a subject, I'm a subject, there's
Ooh.
intersubjectivity between us and between everybody else.
What the hell was
That
that?
social phenomenon is where it is. On the contrary, it is in the intersubjectivity.
I think he said
mediated by objectivity. In other words,
Is he turning into a
the
chicken?
mutual understanding of the world is mediated by the objective world that we see.
Yeah?
We make sense of
Get
it
here
through
at clutch.
intersubjectivity through examining
Yeah?
What's up?
what we see as the objective world, and for Marxist, the objective
good, brother?
is the objective structural.
I heard that.
So, on the contrary, it is in the
I'm in a
mediated by objectivity that my
a serious
existence
fight,
makes
so to
sense.
speak.
I exist does not
Yeah.
become the
Ah,
way we exist,
shit.
but is fulfilled in it. I knew the words fulfilled were something.
Ah,
Bitch.
bitch.
Ass.
Yes and no.
Exist does not come before we exist, but is fulfilled in it. The individualistic bourgeois concept of existence cannot grasp the true social and historical basis of human existence. It is of the essence of humanity.
Come on, teach me.
Men create their own existence. and
I
it
did.
is always social and historical, even while having a specific personal dimension. So you have to submit yourself to the social, to the socialist, to the communist view. And let's be very, very clear here about just how heretical this is. Okay? In Christianity, it is all about your personal individual relationship with God and Christ to determine what your faith is going to be through grace.
Well,
It's not
yeah,
about the collective.
I'm gonna jump off,
What
and I
every
will
other
talk to
person
you
on
guys
earth,
later
Christian or
today.
non-Christian, has
Alright,
nothing to do with
sir.
your relationship or your salvation.
And
It is your relationship with God.
y'all
and
have
individually.
fun.
God is having a relationship with you through Christ.
All right, pace yourself.
But here,
That's
Freire is
just
not
right,
saying
sir.
that. I exist
Yeah.
does not come before
Behave, stay out of trouble.
It is the intersubjectivity that makes
You
But
know.
I mean, some of that
is what he says. And so now it is as the
Okay.
true social
Have a good
basis
one.
of human existence
Yeah, take it easy, brother.
by which we're saved. We're
I'll
saved
try to
as a
get
group,
in
or we're
trouble.
not
Like-
saved at all. And everybody who's going to mess it up has to be gotten rid of so the group can be saved. That's why it kills hundreds of millions of people. So just like for Marx, who wanted to make the social man who lives in a social society, for Freire, I exist is fulfilled and we exist. And this is what it means to be truly reborn on the side of the oppressed, or in Mao's China, to adopt the Renminbi-Chang, which is the people's scheme.
It's a scam likely, so they can get fucked.
So, people's standpoint. You have to be reborn on the side of the oppressed. That's what you're saying. I exist is fulfilled and we exist. It's not your relationship
Oh
with
shit, that backfired.
Christ that saves you. It is man's relationship with proxy of Christ on earth, which is the state. Hegel said that the state is the divine idea that exists on earth, which will self-sacrifice, or with the proletariat, with the class, which in the end, according to Lukács, will sacrifice itself. The class becomes the Messiah that will sacrifice itself in the end, or the state as its dictatorship that it installs to move history as its demiurge, if you will. That thing is going to sacrifice it in the end.
Finally got rid of that
Commitment to the class, where
You did
it would
what now?
almost be that all Christians are saved or lost together. So you have to force everybody to believe exactly the same thing. That would be the idea. That's what he's going at. That's what his liberation theology is about. This is a blatant heresy against Christianity, where the relationship is each individual with God.
Oh.
In terms that God has set, the free will of human, if you're not a Calvinist, has decided that you can that you can choose or not choose. That's the theology. That's the deal. This is something different. You must subsume yourself to the class, which will be the mediator of salvation. In other words, the classes or the state, depending on which way you frame it, is the thing that will self-sacrifice to end human self-estrangement, and thus create liberation and emancipation.
This bitch is crazy. She's so different.
Dude, you're telling me.
About what a theology of liberation is about, then. That's this section. It means siding with the oppressed.
But in the end,
adopting
but
a
her story at the end
revolutionary
with the
commitment
final
so that you
mission
become
is satisfying.
class-oriented, with an understanding that the class in the end is going to destroy and denounce itself, a self-sacrificial
Polska Bob
but not you,
said,
you as in the
exchanged
you part of
empty
the
tank
we is going to
WA
be
full one.
the
Watch
Christ.
Doug
It's going
helium,
to
maybe a
die
noble gas can
and be
still go
resurrected.
flying like a rocket.
And you do that by personally dying and being resurrected on the side of the oppressed, which is to say, thinking of yourself in terms of that class thinking.
You see
Does
that?
make sense?
He
You die
did
as an
show
individual,
that
to be
dominance.
born as part
So
of a
everybody
class
fight me again.
with class consciousness. And then that, in the end, that is a dialectic will progress. It spirals
That's
up,
how
it
you
spirals
solve the
down.
problems with
That
your
class
bitch.
will
Punch her in the face.
sacrifice itself and then
Never again.
liberation. So the individual sacrifices
I mean,
itself to
Sean
the class,
Connery
and then
was
the class
even
sacrifices
kind of
itself
like,
to
you know,
liberation. That's
sometimes,
how it's
Yep.
laid out.
Yep.
That's a theology
you
of
know,
liberation.
and I've
That's
heard
heresy.
throughout my life,
Can't come into
one
church.
side of the hand is for correction, the
If
other
you're a
side is for
pastor,
discipline.
Everybody starts thinking this way has adopted a evil heresy.
I believe it was an interview with Barbara Walters. He stated that.
These people who not just lost, they've been stolen. They're deceived with a D, with a capital D, I should say.
Or
So in light of the fact that Freire was probably just writing this during or after
That's
the
how you
Long
show
War
her the
Council of Churches,
dominance. You give her the slap, the
let's take
slapping
one further
with the
look,
peace slap.
this section for amusement's sake to kind of understand what we're dealing with. He
Oh,
says,
that's fine, that's
existence is
okay.
not despair but risk. If I don't exist dangerously, I cannot be. But if my existence is historical, the
Yeah,
existential
Sean's the man.
risk
I like
is
Sean
not
Connery.
a simple abstract category, it is also historical. That means that to exist is first and foremost to risk
Oh,
oneself,
it's amazing.
though the form and effectiveness of risk will vary from person to person and from place to place. And here's why it's funny to read this, because remember he's doing this to the World Council of Churches. I do not assume risk in Brazil as the Swiss assumes it in Geneva, even if we are both of one political mind. Our socio-historical reality will condition the form our risk will take to seek to universalize the form and content of an idealistic illusion unacceptable to anyone who thinks dialectically. And so now he's talking about theology, and now he's going to talk about the role of churches, which is going to be
What a twist! Sister's alive!
so
She murdered the people.
Titty twisters
Freire
where?
finishes that section with this
Who
clear
told
view
her
of the
no?
demands of the Marxist
I bet she
dialectical
wasn't
faith. He says
included in the
dialectical faith
will.
constitutes one of the major challenges. to
She's
those
like,
who
fine, if I ain't
we're
getting
talking
nothing,
about.
nobody's getting
It's not
anything.
always
I'm gonna
easy
tear this
for
whole
those
clan
type of
down.
people to overcome a petite bourgeois
Yep.
education that
Yes,
is
sister survived.
individualistic and intellectual.
That sounds
She
about
was the
right.
one,
The
and her sister was the one who ordered to slaughter the other family.
His trademark
Because
shows
she
up
was
constantly
into a
inadequate
forced
behavior patterns
marriage.
which predominated classes
I've
mere
seen
objects of
similar
their
things
impatient revolution.
in real life.
Sure.
So what he's saying is that you've been probably brought up in a petite bourgeois education
And she
system
did not like that.
that is individualistic and intellectual.
never really
What does that
do.
Well, it dichotomizes theory and practice. So the theoretical idea and practical idea that Hegel said constitute the two forms of the now self-estranged absolute, the deity that forgot it's a deity until they're brought back together. Theory and practice have to be brought back together, and that's praxis, which is reflective and adapts itself.
Especially if you get a female
But
judge.
it also has a
You're
dichotomy, a separation of the transcendent and the mundane. So here we see the Hermetic alchemy
Maybe.
entirely.
Oh, no.
So the
I wouldn't
idea
mind
is
having
that
Judge
the
Judy.
mundane world and maybe the spiritual influences have something to do with what happens.
maybe
from
Judge
the
Janine.
spiritual realm is kind of
Oh,
completely
Judge
separate.
Janine, yeah.
The transcendent realm, where heaven, where God is not of this world. That's what Jesus said. My kingdom is not of this
What's
world.
under that
Where he tells
robe,
Pilate,
Judge
right,
Janine?
in the gospel, before they kill him. My kingdom is not
Yeah.
of this world, the transcendent and the mundane. But in the Hermetic religion,
What
Outlaw.
the transcendent or the divine is contained
Yes.
within the mundane, and the goal
Gotta
is
show you
to
something.
use some kind of an alchemical
Yeah.
process or criticism if it's
Something
this social
very
theory,
that,
to break
that we
open
like.
the mundane world and
Watch
free the
this.
divine so that it can gather or recollect back together and recollect or
Oh,
remember
yeah,
what it is, which is
305.
divine.
Goddamn.
It's going to separate intellectual work and manual work. Okay, so this is what he's saying. He picks up by outlining the role of the church
Yes,
in a way that's very
sir.
similar to what the World Economic Forum said in 2015 and 16 when it
I mean,
anticipated winning
Yeah,
everything.
that's more
And,
collection.
quote, in trying now to
My
analyze
man.
more deeply the role of the church, especially its educational role, remember he thinks of it as a
Hey,
big school,
this bundle is
we must
almost full.
return to some of the points made above. First
Nice.
of all, to the fact
First-
that it cannot
the
be
first
politically
season.
neutral.
The first season
So what
class
he's
and
saying
some
is that the
mixtures.
church is inherently political, just like
You know-
education, so there's only a church between being evil or being
Yeah,
good.
oh, the God.
This is your typical Manichaean Gnosticism.
Even the
that's
movie
kind of inside of
exclusives.
this witch's brew of Gnosticism and Hermeticism that Hegel and Marx and Rousseau and these characters kind of formulated in the relevant
The Dragon Saga, the
centuries,
Dragon Saga
1760 to
cards.
1860 or thereabouts
Ooh.
in Europe.
The variations
He
of
says
the
it cannot avoid
magician.
making a choice. Can't be neutral, so it cannot avoid making a choice. It is the church.
Yeah,
And
bro.
therefore, we in turn cannot discuss the church's role abstractly or metaphysically. So in other words, the only way to understand
I need
the
to get
church is,
back into
quote, concretely. That's a Marxist term or a Hegelian term. So the only way you can understand the church is through a Marxist analysis of power and its
I
effects.
used to have a
This is where
bunch of
when we
that
do a
stuff.
critique of something, we no longer think of it on regular
Yeah.
terms. We
I had the
input
comics, I
structural,
had the
power-based concrete analysis of Marxism. So the church, in fact, cannot even be understood
There's more.
theologically, according to
Iridium
Freire.
And they
Kush.
will collect the boxes.
Welcome to my channel.
Theology itself, that's
Iridium
abstract.
Kush.
What's up, Iridium Kush?
Zed.
How you doing,
Here's
brother?
where we see
Hello,
Not a
Chaos.
quick match.
Baptist Convention, the
Hope
Presbyterian
all is
Church,
well,
and so on.
sir.
Here's where we see their push to
Fully
reinforce
yeah.
scripture.
upgraded.
The Gospel Coalition, for example, has been doing this for a while. And theology itself through a pedagogy of the oppressed.
This is
Alright.
the other
See
kid
Ken
box.
Keller, for
Yeah,
example,
that's
writing
even
before
Iridium
more.
Kush.
The ones that I used
Zed.
to sell.
It's just
In
recently
Connecticut
come
on
out.
business
them.
travel.
Of
There
replicas.
you go.
The church's choice. Remember, it has to
Yes,
make
sir.
a choice.
Full of
It's not
coffee,
neutral.
yeah.
This is
Copies
Freire,
after
and its choice
copies.
will condition its whole approach to
Mhm.
education, its concepts, objectives, methods, processes, and
Nice.
all of its auxiliary effects.
Mm,
And so now we're going to talk about the seminaries. It is, he says, this
Damn, I
conditioning
just need
affects
supplies.
the theological training of the leadership of the American church as well as the education by the church. Theological reflection or and that's why your seminaries have to use the pedagogy
That's for
of
Harry
the press to
Coon.
interpret scripture to gospel and theology so that they're in line with
That's our
so-called
victory
concrete
scream.
analysis of so-called concrete conditions that people must be conscientized or brainwashed to see. See,
We're
the
not here that
values
often.
have to be transvaluated, just like Marx was
Fat Joe!
So you
SpongeBob,
die
I
to your
think.
elitism and
Oh,
individualism
God.
and be reborn on the side of the
Yeah.
oppressed through the personal
that
experience
abomination
of
of a
Easter.
show.
So you have to be brainwashed.
Polska Bob. said.
and it'll be done.
Kush, the
generatively.
lesson I learned from your stream last night is
So,
don't
you have
speed
certain
through Main
people,
Street, small
many of
town,
whose names I
USA.
mentioned, and I'm sure, who are bringing this into the church, into the seminaries for this reason, because even theological
And
education
I
and
got
reflection
this
is
one
such.
right here. This one is pretty much the
What
most
are they going to do?
expensive
How
one
can
that I
they
have to
move? Well, the
purchase.
goal is to bring a little
What
bit
is that, a
of
Pokemon?
Marxist
Nice.
oppression perspective in.
Do you know how
Once
much
the
it
oppression
costs?
perspective started,
Mm-mm.
The
it
new
would
mint
spiral out of
card.
control and take over everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the method that
$100
Freire
bucks.
uses is the generative themes
Good
method.
God.
You tool your lesson in terms of a generative theme that will generate
Was that a
emotional
The thing is,
responses by picking at people's so-called concrete structural conditions.
I can't
by
see
finding
the
things that make them
words. It's
miserable,
kind of blurry.
or unfair, that there's a point of grievance.
Maybe a
in
flash
seeing
with
it,
Magician
and picking it, and
Soul.
using
So that's
different
not
things
Pokemon.
from the relevant educational material.
No.
If it's reading, for
Yu-Gi-Oh.
example, and you're gonna read about,
Oh.
you know,
it's
the
it's a near
mistreatment
mint
of Native
copy, and then I
Americans,
had to pay
or
$100
you're gonna have
for
them
this
read
one card.
Howard Zinn's
Because
take
I
on
thought
Columbus,
I got
or
one.
if
I
it's,
pulled one from the collection, but it was in German, and I only collect in English.
Analyze statistics
Mhm.
to do with race and poverty or something like that.
Why you only collect in English? Why aren't you collecting the German too? You a German phobe, sir?
Pedagogy is the title of that paper. You can look it up. You're going to bring a drag queen in.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I
I
want it in need English names. I need those. Put the Germans because those are there. Even with the names.
Gender fucking. They call it. Because you're fucking with gender.
Fuck
That's their
them.
words, not mine.
I'm just used to seeing it in English, the whole series.
To start the dialogue and to force the dialogue
Right.
to place in critical
Yeah,
consciousness
me too,
terms
pretty much.
to conscientize. Freire doesn't stutter.
I still have so many like this in German, and anytime if I go to
Maybe they'll say that David
a
raped
card shop, I
Bathsheba.
have to get rid of
They'll say
these.
Jesus died
It's,
to emancipate
looking
people from racism specifically.
Cool.
Maybe they'll say Jesus was a dialectical figure of history, a transformative figure. Maybe they won't say those
And
things.
I'm
but
only
they know
one
they
to
have
collect
some
the
power.
first season
And
and
so
the
maybe those
second
things
one,
aren't true,
if
but
I
we need to
want.
have
If
the
I want.
conversation. As a matter of fact, we don't need to just have
Yeah.
the conversation. We need to have that conversation. So
Yeah, that's
And
it
pretty
when-
might
good.
be true or false. Remember, Michel Foucault said that whether things are
Because
true or
when they
false doesn't matter.
introduced the third season, I'm like,
JLM.
eh.
The lessons
Welcome to my
are in
channel.
fact
Hey, what's
not
up, JLM?
JLM.
How you doing, buddy?
Said.
Well,
That's
same
just
Hi,
way
thing.
over my
everyone.
head.
Isn't to have the
Sitting with
conversation
Ron.
about whether
Yeah.
David
No,
raped
we
That's what I'm
fight.
saying. Like,
Can't
after
stay.
conclude
Have a like.
Well, thank you,
started
sir.
doing like
That's the way that
the
event should be
synchro summon and
understood.
all that, I was like,
What you need
yeah.
to do is you need to come to learn. to
Thanks for
understand
swinging
it
by.
From the perspective of people who might read it that way. People who might feel that way when they read it. You need to understand
I
their
don't fuck
feelings. You
with
need
that
to
new
understand
stuff.
why somebody might see it that way. You need to understand it from the perspective of the oppressed, from the standpoint of the oppressed, from the standpoint of the people. If it moves your heart and you convert to their heresy, that's great. There's an Easter waiting for you.
JLM.
What was it called? The other card game that was
www.https://www.youtube.com/live/iox9zy715 question mark feature
There's one called Card Fight Vanguard. Not as
No.
well known.
It's not whether or not David raped Bathsheba.
No, there was it was
You need
one
to understand
very
a woman
early.
like Rachel Den Hollander who will say that I understand it this way
Wasn't it
because of
2000?
things I went through, and if you understood how I feel, you see why I see it that way.
There wasn't even a Cartoon Network game was that shit. How was it called?
In some of that emotional
Yeah,
experience, the logos needs to let in.
It
a
had
little
like a
pathos
red
and learn to
armored
be
dragon
little
as a
bit more
mascot.
compassionate. Show a little bit of empathy.
Yeah.
Perspective taking is going to be necessary. You need to get into
That game was
from
also
right or
good.
wrong. You need to understand why somebody who has been oppressed
what that
or
was
has
called.
been victimized might
You
see
were
things that
masters.
way. Because you must see from the standpoint of the oppressed.
So, yeah.
That's what it's about. That's the generative method.
Even that one was
It all
awesome.
starts with understanding why somebody would see the aspects of their concrete
Pretty much a magic
experiences
ripoff, but
where
still
you can't
very
or
good.
you won't, and opening up to that perspective.
Awesome designs,
and
at least on the
perspective
card, at
on
least.
David and Bathsheba and the nature of sexual assault,
Oh, excuse me.
experience of it, the horror of it, what people
You
experience.
never have to
minds,
apologize
etc.,
after a birth
and the
because yeah,
perspective on race and theology, kingdom race theology.
I was raised with manners, so
And you
yeah.
reflect on the role of Jesus, and now you're
even I was raised with manners, but if I am all alone, I do not.
And to get there, the seminaries have to teach pastors to see it this way. Not that many, but some. So from Freire, as we see from Freire, they go on to orient the churches in the right way, because this is what theologies do. They pick a lodestar and they orient all philosophy, all theology toward that lodestar. That lodestar is called its concept of divinity. The concept of divinity in Marxist theology is being a transformative
that's
subject
exactly what I'm doing.
that creates the kingdom of God here on earth through believing in or having faith in other human beings and
You smoke inside, right?
struggle.
Yeah.
Permanent activism.
I have to smoke outside when I go to
activism that
cities.
uses Marxist theory. In other words, historical praxis. They keep saying the words over and over again. Please, please learn what they mean. They aren't saying word salad. And so
I used
Freire
to.
offers three options
For
churches
long
take,
years.
traditional, modernizing, and prophetic. And the first two of those, traditional and modernizing, he sees as
Just that the owner of the house
preventing
he said let's just smoke outside.
So they are openly counter-revolutionary while pretending not to be, and Marxist. Those are your three options. So the first, which is openly resisting, has to be relentless.
Because if I try to smoke one, I was gonna then the smoke detectors going beep 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 beep.
While they continue to run interference for the Marxists. Right, Russell Moore? Right, Mark Dever? Right? Right, Tim Keller? And then the Marxist ones go to town. And there's your Pope Francis, I guess. So, as Freire says, in a class society, the power elite necessarily determines what education will be, and therefore its objectives.
This is dumb. Oh
the
shit.
objectives will certainly not be opposed to the elite's interests. As we have already said, it would be supremely naive to imagine that the elite would in any way promote or accept an education that stimulated the oppressed to discover the raison d'etre. Raison d'etre, the reason for being, the social structure. These churches, which are freezing to death in the warm bosom of the bourgeoisie, can certainly not tolerate any ideas, even if only verbal, that the elite considers diabolic. And yet again, the iron law of work projection never misses. Remember, diabolic means communism when they bring this up. But more importantly, what they are never telling you how power actually works. They're telling you how they believe power works, which means they're telling you how they will abuse power when they get it. Because it's how their crackpot religion believes power works, and they don't know any other way. Utopianism for woke critical Marxists is just an endless commitment to denouncing those new abuses later. You denounce whatever is that's utopian consciousness for Freire. So they create a new thing, they do a bunch of abuses, you denounce those later, and you do it in some bogus way that just makes things worse and worse, and blame somebody else for them. It was the system. I got monkeypox because the system didn't take care of me well enough. Blah, blah, blah. Our task, Freire says, in considering the role of the church in education would be simplified if we could count on coherence between church and gospel. In that case, it would be sufficient to look at the dependent condition of Latin American society, with the exception of Cuba and up to a point Nicaragua, and set up a strategy of action for the church. The reality, however, is different. We cannot think in a vacuum. So pause to notice for a second that he's just asserting that people really understood the gospel as a dialectical text. Jesus is a transformational figure of history, with the real God being the God of history.
What you
the true
do?
supreme being the God of history. It's unfolding an absolute idea. It's unfolding history to its logical omega point, which is the kingdom of God being built here on earth for the oppressed. If people just really understood the gospel, that's what Freire is saying, the task of communism would be straightforward. And this is how a Gnostic heresy happens. It asserts a particular concept of the scripture into the scripture and then calls everything else naive, blind, reactionary, or heretical. Because of the iron law of woke projection. But for them, because they believe they have the secret absolute knowledge, the so-called gnosis. That's why it's called Gnosticism. And so let me pause for a second to tell you, there are people out there, lots of them, who still think you can bring in a little critical race theory or critical feminism or gender and queer theory into the theological interpretation as a so-called analytical tool, even funnier, subordinate to Scripture, as it said in Resolution 9 in the Southern Baptist Convention in 2019. Subordinate to Scripture. This doesn't stay subordinate, it will subordinate Scripture. So what they're saying, though, there's a lot of people who believe this. Well, we can bring in a little. We have to take on the perspective. We got to hear them out. We got to listen. We got to find a third way. Because a little heresy is apparently okay. Let me tell you right now, Gnosticism, once invited in, never, ever, ever stays there. It always expands.
No, get you, no,
Once you let it in,
don't you
have to
fucking dare.
conflict with a vampire.
Oops.
If a vampire bites you, one of two things happen within the list. Either you turn and become a vampire yourself, good for the vampire team, or you die. So they don't care. So if they take over your church or your convention, either it becomes a Marxist organization that promotes Marxism and raises consciousness.
Look at that stupid monk. That's the best weapon in the game.
Operating for them and devoting its resources to their project, or it dies, which is great because something that was resisting them is out of the way. They don't care which one it is. Now, the greatest barrier to this heresy is the so-called traditional church, which Freire tries to define as reactionary, and that he tries to position as being backwards and something that can only exist in a pre-industrial, pre-modern society. But the fact is that it's tradition. That's the problem. Tradition keeps heresy out.
Fuck, I'm about to have to go.
Adherence to traditional ways of belief and life keeps the Gnostic heresy out. And this gets a little heavy duty. He says it is not possible to speak objectively of the educational role of the various denominations as being unified and coherent. On the contrary, the roles differ, sometimes opposing each other according to the political line, whether evident, hidden, or disguised, which the different churches are living out in history. The traditionalist church, first of all, is still intensely colonialist. He doesn't even hesitate to just blast it with colonialism. Right now, a subtle point not to lose is that he keeps saying in history, in history, in history. Every time he says that is he's asserting that all churches, whether they think they do or not, whether they want to or not, fall into the dialectical conception of the world and the people that live in that world. He's asserting the Marxist theology into it. This is actually a deep assumption that lies under everything that we're talking about. Every single podcast, etc., talk, essay that I've put out about this is
Douglas
about the same
Edwards.
books, same thing.
Welcome to my channel.
Yo,
Douglas Edwards
Dougie's
said,
here.
"Hi Chaos, how's it going?"
It was good, Doug. How you doing, brother? Hope all is well.
Living out in history. He's saying they're all in the Marxist context. Whether they want
It's,
to
Shit, he just got off work.
Yeah.
ignore it, but they are
He just
still
got
in
off.
the
I'm about to go.
and they can't help it. So when
Even
they
me.
Are intensely colonialist when they resist.
Well, you gotta go to sleep because it's
Douglas
already
Edwards
like 11 o'clock over
said,
there.
"I'm all good, Chaos. Got back to hotel."
Almost.
And that's why he starts off by saying they're intensely colonialist, because colonialism
But I got
is
late
oppressive,
shift, so I'm good.
problematic, evil.
Still have enough
Douglas
time
Edwards
to play.
Just
Just came off train.
Came off train, huh?
Look at what it's actually done.
Well, hopefully you weren't on the receiving end of that train.
Douglas Edwards said, "Yo,
Indie
Indy and Outlaw."
Because that just been nasty, sir.
Douglas Edwards said, "Haha, no sir."
That's nasty. More premium content for your ass.
Hey, Chaos.
What's up, sir?
You ready for this?
Shoot.
Death threats against the journal editor until he retracted the paper.
Beech Grove man, Indiana, busted with 15 pounds of pot and edibles legally bought in Michigan. So he bought it legally in Michigan, came back to Indiana, and they busted his ass. That's wrong.
It is to a degree, but well, you know that wasn't for personal use.
He's literally saying it's not the first time he said it. The mundane, he says.
True, but I just don't see
they need to
how.
legalize it and just start letting places sell it in the stores. Make some rules.
Genesis 3.
Douglas Edwards
Just like in Holland.
said,
Tax it.
"Bolster
Take the
Bob,
tax
always good to see
money.
you."
Well, you know he's going to be facing felony and all that.
Because
shit.
he's
And it's
basically,
like,
because it's still considered a
So hey, Calvinist, now we're talking about you, right? Everybody
Class
totally
Yeah.
C?
Class A.
Class A, yeah.
Class A.
Totally depraved, I understand, sorry. And so you have to pay for your
Wait!
Crystal
Federally.
said, "Hi Douglas."
Now, if it was a woman,
saying that that is why you are a masochistic death cult as a church. But the subtle point to remind you of here is that
flash the top and
Like
suddenly get off.
combination of mundane and transcendent, as we said before, is alchemy.
Because they'll get them for distribution, intent to distribute, all kinds of shit.
Yep.
And being freed from the domain, from the mundane by the dialectical work of conscious humans.
That much. I mean, me personally, I could safely say it would all be personal consumption pretty much. Because I don't deal really. I'm just a middleman for other people.
Douglas Edwards said, Crystal Kitten, how's it going?
Oh shit! He still got me.
The more they suffer, this is you guys in the traditional church that
If you jump in front of him when he is charged.
The more they suffer, the more they purify themselves.
Yeah, just canceled it out.
Heaven and eternal rest. Work is not for them.
Ow!
Men and women on the world.
Bitch! Fuck you! Ah, shit! That backfired!
The standard interpretation of Genesis 3, yes. Work here, though, really, for him, the action of men and women on the world, is the work of transforming the world into a Marxist kingdom of God. And he thinks that the religious, the traditional churches are getting it completely wrong.
That was great.
It's also the work on man to transform man himself into the deity that will live in the Edenic commune that they hope to establish
Mr. Cash M.
at the end of history.
Welcome to my channel.
What's up, Mr. Cash M? How you doing?
Said, OMG.
Welcome to the stream. Hope all is well.
Hope and joy is that you get to be part of the
Oh,
transition.
we got some more Mongols over here. Let's deal with them before I go to this. Ooh, it's a fox thing, so.
Or the state, or whatever that happens to be in their
Mr. Cash M.
people.
Said,
Jackbox. That will probably be Friday night.
The haven of the masses, which is obviously poking back to Marx's opium of the masses. We already read a little bit from that.
Yeah.
This view of the world of life.
But he didn't like that.
Satisfies the
oh, I overshot his head.
Consciousness of the oppressed at a certain moment of their historical experience. They find in it a kind of healing for their existential fatigue. So it is that the more the masses are drowned in their culture of silence with all of the silence
Ow!
that
Bitch!
The more the masses tend to take refuge in churches that offer that sort of ministry. Submerged in this culture of silence where the only voice to be heard is that of the ruling classes, they see this church as a sort of womb in which they can hide from an aggressive society. And despising this world as a world of sin, vice, and impurity, they are in one sense taking their revenge on their oppressors, its owners. So
there we go. I finally got him covered in mud.
The goddamn bacon.
And again, like I
said,
let's just sit back
is backfired, to the surprise of no one watching.
Oh, yeah.
Religious suffering is, at one and the same time, the expression of real
that and thermal imaging from a predator.
Sure.
And the soul of soulless conditions. It is the opium of the people, and that's what we're kind of appealing to here. But he's also saying that
y'all are getting to enjoy the shit I listen to. I thought this would be a good one to actually play during my stream.
Despising the world, iron law will project into the
because it covers a bunch of shit that I talk about.
Now, pause for a second, just imagine. He's trying to say that faithful, God-fearing people despise the world as a world of sin, vice, and impurity, and are therefore taking revenge on God.
No fox
as a Marxist,
pets.
who's saying that?
What?
I mean, this is
oh,
totally
there
Gnostic,
he is.
Totally
Let's go.
Projection hits
Pet
so
the little
hard
fox.
It's crazy. Literally, there's by definition is a religion of hatred and revenge against the character they create.
Oh, take this bong rip. Do one more mission, then I'm gonna skedaddle.
That's it's responsible for creation, but also antagonistic to what's truly divine, to the true supreme being. Their entire value is built around the idea of the insult and injury of being flung, in the Heideggerian sense, into unwanted existence. The so-called flungness, the Geworfenheit of being, or the thrownness of being that Heidegger talks about. He's a Gnostic, by the way. Theirs is literally a religion of hatred and envy, a religion that sees this world as one of terrible things, power and domination and oppression. And so they're taking revenge on their oppressors, their owners. It's crazy how upside down this is. Now this carries on. He says, it's as if they were saying to the bosses, you are powerful, but the world over which your power holds sway is an evil one, and we reject it. He's projecting the Gnostic view onto the traditional churches.
Crystal
This is
Kidin
literally Gnosticism.
said,
The difference is
I'm
that
not
instead of
able
the
to
false
play Among
god
Us
of the
tomorrow.
old
My
Gnostic
Nintendo
heresies, the
membership ran
demiurge,
out.
right? Mystery religions, the powerful become the jailers,
Okay.
the constructors of the prison walls, and the oppressors.
That's
Really, where
unfortunate.
man is his own true divine being, as be set free, but in communion with everybody else, as a we think.
Let's
as a we
say
exist.
if you're able to
Now,
budget
I'm not
it, I
saying
would
here, right?
start getting the yearly thing.
That means the Marxist.
But that's just
Gnostic
how I've been doing it
heresy
for.
holds that the people who have power, whether that's the bourgeoisie,
Oh
whether
God.
that's the whites, whether that's the, you name it, the normal, the straight, the men, depending on whatever able-bodied, the
Crystal
thin,
Kidin
the fit, whatever,
said,
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to be
category
doing.
of
That's
their
if you're able to
humanity,
budget
identity,
it. Ultimately, end up
oppressive
saving
therein,
more
Marxist
doing it yearly than you
economic
do
one.
doing it
They're saying
monthly.
that those people are the demiurge. They created society. They established themselves as the power.
It's just
and
a one-time
principality of that
payment. I
society.
generally use my
They're in
income
charge
tax. I
of
don't
that
think y'all have
society. They
income
created
tax
mythology
going.
that justifies that society.
Indy, y'all don't
And
do
keeps
income. Not
everybody
Indy.
else oppressed
Hemi,
and
y'all
as
don't do income
enslaved.
tax up
So
there,
what
do
they're
you?
saying is the people in power, white people, rich people, productive class,
Oh, you
bourgeoisie,
do?
which
Oh,
is the
okay.
middle class, are the
Yes, yeah, we
Crystal
do.
Kidin
society.
Oh, Chris is
If
still on
people
here
were-
too.
And they have to be
We do.
destroyed because
Oh
of
wait,
the
that's not
We-
Chris. That's Hemi.
reality.
God
to
damn.
Ha-
I need to smoke
we do
more.
that.
fascism, communism,
We do the
God
same.
on earth.
Oh, okay.
This is the nature. So when you bring in a little, let's just bring in a little critical race theory as an analytical tool. You're bringing in a little Gnostic heresy.
How else do you think the government gets
White
paid?
people are the demiurge that's setting
Just
up
taxing the
society
fuck out of
and
everything.
at the expense of people. of
Ah.
color. That's what you're bringing in.
They get you even if you don't buy anything, man.
Little Gnosticism.
They
Using
tax
race
they
as
tax
a
you
mediator
based on your
to the Gnostic belief.
output
And your
and your
friends are
input.
literally trying to project that. So the bosses.
Not bad for a
Bosses
temporary wartime measure, huh?
in the
Huh.
Marxist view of Freire.
Yeah.
And his quote here was, "It is if they were saying to the bosses, you are powerful, but the world over which your power holds sway is an evil one and we reject it. They are the Gnostics fighting back against the demiurge. This is a Gnostic faith. How much clearer can it get if you don't get it yet? What do you need? Forbidden," he says, "as a subordinate social class to have their say, they fool themselves that the prayers for salvation they voice in their haven are a genuine form of speaking out. None of this resolves the real problems of the oppressed. Their catharsis actually alienates them further, for it directs their anger against the world and not against the social system that's
Crystal
running the world.
Kidin
He's
Said,
literally saying everything
I'm
I've
not
been
expecting
saying.
anything back
It's
from my
fucking
taxes.
hilarious.
Renounce the world's mediation in their pilgrimage.
Yeah.
By doing so, they hope to
I
reach
expected
transcendence
back less, and I
without
somehow
passing
got
by
back
way
a
of
little bit
pain.
more.
They want meta-history without experiencing history. They want salvation.
And then
without
again, they did
knowing
drop me like
liberation.
an entire like
Paying
2 tax
attention to what
brackets
this
pretty
is.
much.
Traditional religion is characterized as inducing people to pray to the false demon god, the demiurge, the bosses, and thus
It really do
perpetuating
suck
and
working
servitude by
as
the
many, if not
traditional
more,
church
hours
system.
and making
This is
less
just
in that
plain
year.
Gnostic heresy. And I mean damned with like a literal damned. Damned.
But when you make less,
And
you
the
make
ironic
more.
projections
But
all
when you
through
make more,
social system
you make
becomes the
less.
demiurge.
Don't
The
you just love the
arbiters
tax
actually,
system?
The whites, the rich, the powerful, the privileged, whatever. Privileged is the tool of the demiurge in the modern
The
Gnostic
goddamn
faith.
bacon said. Do they tax you
Gnosticism
dash?
with
Bah ha
hermetic
ha ha
alchemy
ha
mixed
ha ha. I couldn't
Hegel's
even make
dialectic
it past
theology
that
with
part
scientific
lol.
Gnosticism that's going to move the needle. And
Yeah,
he says
they
the
they
pain of
tax
domination
my
leads
ass
into
off.
this historical
I don't like it.
anesthesia. There's your religion, or your he's talking about religion, and there's your reference back to Marx's opening of the people thing. Accept this historical anesthesia. It anesthetizes you to the idea that we're in a continual flow of history that must be transformed, in the hope that it will strengthen them to fight sin and the devil, leaving untouched all the while the real causes of their oppression. They cannot see beyond their present situation the untested feasibility, the future as a liberation project that they must create for themselves, the kingdom of God they must build for themselves here on earth. And scientific Gnosticism is given as the answer to the projection of being a Gnostic heresy. And now he's going to say that it's all for hillbillies and hicks. He says the traditional type of church is usually found in backwards, closed societies, mostly agricultural, which depend upon the export of raw materials and have only a minimal internal market. Here, the culture of silence is fundamental. Like the archaic social structures, the traditionalist church remains unchanged throughout the modernization of these societies. So he's implying that it's literally backwards not to transform the faith into something more modern or prophetic, which is the correct answer of how to update your church. Literally backwards. So it's reactionary. The force, he says, of such traditionalist religion is seen even in the urban centers being transformed under the impact of industrialization. Only a qualitative change in the consciousness of the people
goddamn.
the need to see the church as the haven of the masses. Haven of the masses anesthetizes them to history, therefore keeps them from becoming Gnostics. So only going into a Marxist consciousness can transform the church from the rock of the community into a dialectical values weapon for Marxist transformation. It's going to be wielded by Klaus Schwab, who knows that values have to be transformed to faith, not intellectual alone, as we've heard. Freire says, and as we have seen, this qualitative change does not happen automatically, mechanically, or merely within consciousness. And so, I was going to go on, but no. This qualitative change does not happen automatically, mechanically, or merely within consciousness. So no, it happens deliberately by bad men and women selling out the church or the educational system or whatever else to bring in the Marxism, to transform the seminaries, the education, the pastors, the interpretation, the churches, and thus the laity, to gut the churches while keeping them in their external form. That's sublation, that's Aufheben, that is the transformational project of dialectical alchemy. It is to change seminaries, churches, into centers of conscientization into Marxism. It does not happen automatically, mechanically, or within consciousness. No, it requires praxis. It requires praxis, which means it requires conscious subjects who move the dialectic process forward intentionally as their committed historical praxis. So it requires men like Ed Stetzer, Al Mohler, Rick Warren, Mark Dever, Ligon Duncan, Tim Keller, and Pope Francis to deliberately enable this transformation, while in most cases professing to know better. It requires conscious, deliberate praxis by people such as Ed Stetzer, Al Mohler, Rick Warren, Mark Dever, Ligon Duncan,
I know it's
Keller,
quiet
and
right
Pope
now.
Francis. Requires it. It does not happen automatically, mechanically, or within consciousness. For all these reasons, he says, Freire says, and for many more that would take too long to analyze, the traditionalist line is unquestionably allied to the ruling classes, whether it or not it is aware of this. The role that these churches can and do play in the field of education is conditioned then by their view of the world, of religion, and of human beings and their destiny. In other words, you're going to have to see this from a Marxist perspective. Seeing humans as children of God who obey God and work to glorify God and can achieve salvation through grace, through faith, is the problem. That has to be replaced by thinking of man as a conscious, transformative subject who is going to build the kingdom of God here on earth in solidarity with the oppressed. That is Marxism. If you don't do that, if you don't take up Marxism, if you obey God or fear God, that would uphold and enable evil, because you're not Marxist. Their idea of education, Freire says, in its application, cannot help in paralyzing, alienating, and alienating. That's, of course, iron-on protection, but that's how they see you teaching or preaching in the churches, delivering messages, reaching people, and actually transmitting the core of your faith, reaching to them with the actual message, say, of the gospel, instead of Marxism and liberation theology. It is paralyzing, alienating, and alienated, they say. See, the world moved on. You've got to catch up, right? You've got to keep up with the world. Only those, he says, who hold this perspective critically rather than naively will be able to escape from their trap through praxis, by entering into a totally different commitment to the dominating classes. And
I mean, I know they do taxes. I just didn't know if they did income tax.
The church must be fundamentally transformed into the prophetic church. And just one more time, what did Henry Drew say makes it qualify that way? Utopian character of his analysis is concrete in its nature and appeal, and it takes as its starting point collective actors in their various historical settings, the particularity of their problems and forms of oppression, It is utopian only in the sense that it refuses to surrender to the risks and dangers it face all challenges to dominant power structures. It is prophetic in that it views the kingdom of God as something to be created on earth, but only through a faith in both other human beings and the necessity of permanent struggle. Now, we're going to hear we're going to turn, his next section is on the modernizing church, but it's not going to be enough to modernize. Woke washing, as Klaus Schwab calls it, won't do. You have got to be fully committed. And that's what he says.
Excuse me.
As we close up this section, he says, furthermore, technological modernization does not necessarily make people more capable of critical analysis, because it too is not neutral. It is dependent on the ideology that commands it. So making your church more modern depends on whether or not it's critically engaged or not, as to whether it counts. So a lot of this next section on both the modernizing church and the prophetic one after focuses on the context of Latin America. So we're going to skip around a bit.
Made it in about 2 hours of it.
But he's
the whole video is like over 3 hours long. But I do longer streams than that. Shit. Oh man, I don't want to go to work. Ugh. No. Come on. I want to play the sad flute for him. I want to play the sad flute for him, god damn it. Stand up. Play that.
You say that every day.
Yeah, I gotta play the sad flute.
Polska
But it's
Bob
not changing the weather.
said, "Don't
Change
go
the
to
weather.
work. I've been working all day and it sucks."
Change the weather! It's not
Play
changing
the skin
weather.
flute.
I already played that today. I don't need to play it. Yeah, didn't expect that answer, did you? Let me play your sad flute again.
Actually, I did.
Now I'm gonna play the sad flute for me. I'm gonna hang my head in shame.
Do you have a busy night ahead of you?
It's Wednesday, so yes, I do. The joys of responsibilities, you know. Good times. Let's get this.
Don't you
outro
make
shit
Don't you
going.
make Chris do it all?
I kind of did the other day, and he was. I didn't expect him to bring his brother with him yesterday, so I ended up getting done
Extra help.
like I got done really early. Like I was done by like 8:30. So we ended up coming back to my place, and I smoked him out and shit.
One thing led to another.
No, homie, don't swing that way. At least I don't. Chris is questionable, but I 100% know which way I swing, and it's not towards the same team like that. No. But his brother ended up hit pneumonia, right?
Polska Bob said,
And he ended up
LOL
throwing up
Hemi.
a little bit.
into
Into his
pneumonia?
lap. Into his lap.
Oh, okay. At least it wasn't into your piece.
No, I ended up having to get him some paper towels and shit so he could wipe it up. Chris ended up fucking just passing out.
Ah.
He's a fucking lightweight.
He's smoking that good.
I mean, he's smoking above what he should. I don't think he should be smoking at all, really, but because he makes.
He's punching above his weight class.
Yes. He's trying to smoke with a big dog, and he's just a little itty bitty chihuahua.
Whoa.
It's like what? It was a Looney Tunes cartoon. It was Spike and that
What do you want?
little that little. Oh God, he's talking to his kid. What do you want?
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking to the wife. No, it was
Yes.
Spike and I don't remember
No.
that other dog's name that was in those cartoons, but he was that hyperactive, just what are we doing today? Where do you want to go? Blah 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 kind of guy.
Wait till I come out with you, okay?
And Hemi talking about coming out.
I gotta go outside with my kid.
I'm joking. I know what you meant.
He was gonna go play on the ice by himself, so
Oh.
I'm gonna go watch him.
There you go. Better timing than now because I'm fixing to end the stream. Oh man. There it is. There's the music. Fuck, that's loud. Make sure it's not louder than me though. Because how dare it be louder than me? Give a shout out to everybody in the chat and everyone that came through. Let's get this list up. We got Mr. Cash M. Welcome back. And who is this other new person that popped in here? Fon Young Man. That's an interesting name. Welcome to the stream. Doug, welcome brothers. Good seeing you. JLM, you as well. Iridium Kush, great content creator on here. Make sure to go check him out. Mochi Alex is good seeing you, brother. Primo Living BC, another great gaming content creator here. Make sure to check him out. Harry Coon, check him out at Ugly Harry. MGTOW Outlaw, another great content creator. Thanks for hanging out in the Discord, brother. Cubing, thanks for the lurk, brother. Polska, another great content creator. Make sure to check him out for the last call with Polska Bab. Rusty Rivers, the goddamn bacon, another great content creator. Make sure to check him out as well at the goddamn bacon. Crystal Kitten, it's good seeing you as well. Make sure to check her out. Crystal Kitten, it's Celestial Kitten 85 on here, but YouTube's being weird. That's actually the app part or whatever. Oh. YouTube's being weird with her, so anyways, thank you to those that are still subscribed. Your support has been greatly appreciated, and thank you to those that just recently subscribed. Your support, okay, your support has been greatly appreciated. We're at 382, 8 away from 400. So at 400, I'm gonna do a drunk stream. I don't drink a lot, so I'm gonna get some liquors because I only do mixed drinks, and we're gonna celebrate every time I die. I'm gonna take a shot anytime something fucked happens to me. I'm gonna take a shot or a swig, whatever. Yeah, it'll be a swig because I mix drinks. Anyways, until then, have a great morning, evening, or afternoon, whatever's the hell from out this bitch. Peace.
A drunk stream, I'm so crashing that.
We're gonna kick an old school just for you guys, because I know y'all liked this one. And it's from the same people that made the Predator Shuffle.
Sexual advances are not appealing. In fact, I'm starting to get the uh-oh feeling. And my mama said my special parts are just for me. So why in the world are you trying to creep?
Crystal Kid in. Said. Sounds like something from a kid's show, lol.
One of the kids that I play Grand Theft Auto with, well, he'd be an adult now because I've known him about 3 years, but he said they showed him this video in high school. So yeah.
Shiite poster.
The actual video
Welcome
is
to my
awful.
Shiite poster. Said.
Shiite,
Hi.
late to the party.
Bye. LOL.
Goodbye.